to be
Watermelon Crush.
The Watermelon Crush seems to be the general pick. So
well, let's face it, it's half Newcastle colours, really. It's sort of red and pink.
It's the closest design we've had. Because I know from talking to Mark Hughes about Beanie Round, I know that he on purpose avoids red and blue kind of designs to make sure that he, his true colours don't come bleeding out.
Kick-off is just moments away here at the stadium. Thank you, Bridget Murphy. The Tigers have lost 5 of their past 7, 6 of their past 9. They've had to deal with a fair amount of injuries. Dean Hallertau hoping an inclusion is Adam Dewey this afternoon.
Yeah, well, before he got injured, Adam Dewey was one of the best players in the competition, if not leading the way in terms of halfbacks, and we've got some quality halves obviously playing in the NRL, so getting him back is a huge in for them. They've been craving that kind of guidance and leadership around the middle of the field, the edges of the field, the work that all halfbacks do in guiding the team around. So I think he's going to make a huge difference to them this afternoon. Also, just the combination that he has with Appy Coruscant.
Yeah.
I think together they work really well. Appy's had to shoulder a lot of that leadership on the field, but I think in combination it adds a lot for the Tigers.
Keep your text coming, 0467920222. Of course, Kalen Ponga and Dylan Lucas back from their post-Origin rest as well. And will those two men be going back into their respective Origin camps ahead of Game 3 in Melbourne Wednesday week? Of course, a big question mark around Dylan Lucas, who was a surprise call-up for Game 2. He's been in fantastic form, no question, at club level, but Moyo Kawatu, of course, had a great statement last night to maybe reclaim that place in the Blues back row.
Yeah, well, it's been a big talking point out of Game 2, and look, I think Dylan Lucas deserved his jersey. He's been outstanding, as you say, and look, if New South Wales win that game and everyone else plays really good, he has a good performance playing exactly the same way.
Here come the West Tigers, and the boos for them as well. Fullback Jareen Buller, wingers Sunia Taruva and Gerald Skelton, centres Taylor May and Starford Toa, 5'8" and co-captain Jerome Luai, halfback Adam Dewey. Lock forward is Alex Seyfarth wearing number 16. Second rowers Tony Sukar and Sione Fainu in his 50th NRL game. Props Terrell May and Bunty Alfoa in the jersey number 15. The benches for Nua Bole, Jasesi Lanyon, Latu Fainu, Hemesi Makasini, Mav Gaia and Tino Tavana. Their coach is Benji Marshall. The 7 wins, 7 losses, 11th place West Tigers looking to press their claims back up towards that top 8. The Knights are sitting in the 8 still, despite starting the round in 5th position. They've had a few teams leapfrog them, and they can, of course, reaffirm their place in the 8 and a push for top 4 here as Kalen Ponga leads them out at fullback. Wingers Dong Young and Greg Marju, centres Dane Gagai and Bradman Best, 5'8" Fletcher Sharp, halfback Dylan Brown, lock Matt Croker, back rowers Dylan Lucas, Jermaine McEwen, his return today as well from the club imposed suspension. Props are Jacob Safidi and Trey Mooney, hooker is Phoenix Crossland, bench Shannon Smith, Tyson Rozelle, Cody Hopwood, Thomas Camp, Lockie Crouch, who's yet to debut, and Fletcher Hunt, who played New South Wales Cup in Tamworth on Friday night and is on that 6-man bench for Justin Holbrook's Newcastle Knights. Our referees better go off with our touch officials Drew Altram and Casey Badger. Grant Joey Atkins in the bunker. I can't ask you two for a tip. Fair dinkum. We're even though, Bridget, you just go on. What do you want to say?
No, this is the twice annual Hallertau Murphy Bowl, and I will be going for the Knights.
You'll tip Knights, you'll tip Tigers. I will say Newcastle. Sorry, shot.
Whatever.
Tigers will kick off. Newcastle will have first use running south to north, right to the left as you look at your radio or ABC listen at for the final game of round 17. Where's the footy? Are we still waiting for one to come onto the ground here?
Crucial piece.
We're still waiting for a...
Drew Outram's going down there.
There we go. A nice little drop punt there from the touchy as he kicks it down towards Adam Dewey, who will get things underway for the final game of round 17. Ready for brain cancer round here in Mark Hughes territory in Newcastle. Great to have your company here. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. And we are officially underway. Knights Tigers across the ABC, across this great land and beyond. And charging into the defensive line, Safidi, 15 out from his own line. The first hit up of this Sunday afternoon game. He's 12 in from the eastern side. Play it there for Crossland. It comes across to Jermaine McEwen. As I mentioned, back from that club-imposed suspension. And now he's playing at 20 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Centrefield run here from Croker. Takes 3 defenders with him. In there first was Seyfarth and also Terrell May as it swung back to the right-hand side by crossing the dummy half and trying to get something going through that middle of the park. 35 out from his own line, now played by Trey Mooney. First year of a 4-year deal at the Newcastle Knights. It comes to Dom Young. It came from Potter initially. Young up that eastern touchline back on the inside. Here to Dylan Brown, who streaks in to score. And the Knights are win after 53 seconds. Well, that run to get with Cullen Ponga, and of course Dom Young just galloping down that far touchline. Linking up with the NRL's most expensive player, Dylan Brown, scores the first points of the day. 4-0 Knights, kick to come on ABC Sport. Dean Hallertau.
Yeah, very brave play here from the Newcastle Knights early in the game. Coming out of yardage, they decide to take a short side on, and it's that man, Cullen Ponga, we usually see making breaks down the left-hand side or creating opportunities down the left-hand side. Pops up on the right, puts it through the hands, and it's the last pass that gets out to Dom Young from Dane Gagai. This is a tip on. He's great. We're going to see a review, maybe a player taken out in the lead up there.
We'll hear from Grant Atkins in the bunker. Here's Peter Goff, our referee.
McEwen is required to run at space. He runs straight at the defender and takes him out. This now creates a 3-on-2.
So that was all the way back on the 40-metre line at the start of the play. And so, for all the excitement of that, Bridget Murphy scrubbed that back to 0-all.
Oh, what a start. That was then taken away. And I'm looking up at Dean Hallertau right now, pumping his hands up in the air that one's been taken away. But, yeah, good opening effort from the Newcastle Knights. Unfortunate that one was taken away. A bit unlucky in my opinion, but we'll see how they bounce back.
Seemed like it was there. He's like can play diplomat. Adam Dewey finds touch on the eastern side. So first penalty of the game in turn goes the way of West Tigers after that Jermaine McEwen obstruction. A disallowed try. A tap here. Taylor May off to Jerome Luai. And now it's with Terrell May, who's put on his back by Croker and Safidi. 10 out, left-hand side of the post. Comes across a big bad Bunty on a straightening run here. He's now 6 away from Newcastle's line at southern end of Hunter Stadium. Dummy half Croissau. Looks left but goes right onto Dewey. Engineers the pass back on the inside now for the back rower in Tony Suka. And he'll play it only a few metres away from Newcastle's line. Right-hand side of the post. Little dummy here from Croissau. Back to Dewey. He steps on the inside here. Crossland desperate tackle. Metre shy here is Dewey. Play it now for Croissau. A couple of plays left. Kick goes in behind the goals. And it's grounded down there by Fletcher Sharp. And that will be line dropout Newcastle Knights. No score for 2 minutes here. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Dean Hallertau.
Yeah, sharp play there from the hooker there. Happy Croissau jumps out, sees the space in behind, and Alex Seyfarth is charging through. It's pretty tight to where the kick came from, and it was going sharply across the ground. So he falls over, and then Sharp does a great job to cover it up for the Knights.
Goal line dropout here for the Newcastle Knights, and Cullen Ponga makes it a short one, which just goes the required 10. Meted back by Dom Young, but all over it down there on the wing for West Tigers is the fullback Doreen Buller. So he'll play it 10 metres out from his own line. Terrell May inside this Newcastle red zone, 11 out left-hand side of the post. So played early in the count. Croissau keeps going open side right. Seyfarth off to Jerome Luai, off to Dewey. Options in the corner, and he goes there into Fletcher Sharp and also McEwen. In fact, Lucas, it is who tackles him. 8 metres shy in that southwestern corner of the stadium. Goes back here from the winger. Sent wide by Gerald Skelton. Open side left. They get some shape going now. Croissau was dumped, and the pass bobbled out there towards the centre in Taylor May. He shrugs away one would-be tackler, and now claimed there by 3 red and blue jerseys. 15 out, 20 in from the eastern side. Tigers here with a couple of plays left in the set. Bunty Afoa gains a few more steps here. He is 10 out, dead centre field here for West Tigers. Croissau, open side right here to Dewey. Puts up the kick, launching through the air. Gerald Skelton lost it backwards here, and that will be end of the set. And a changeover. Newcastle's ball inside that 10-metre line at southern end, and still no score after 3.5 minutes. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport.
Yeah, it was a real threat there. It was a nice kick into the corner, and Skelton getting through. It's not a bad matchup against Greg Marju, who's not that tall, and it was a great kick from Dewey, but knocks it back over the sideline. The Knights now get a chance to bring it out from their own end.
Get to Bridget Murphy on the touchline shortly is Sharp at dummy half. Across here to Trey Mooney. Two-time Māori All-Star. Scored a try last time these sides met, round 6 at Campbelltown. I mentioned all the points that were scored that day. And then they go left to right here through hands Ponga, Gagai and Young. And Young this time is felled 35 out from his own line. Gagai, open side left, of course. Announcement through the week that Gagai returned to Brisbane to, I assume, finish his career, 2027. 35 out from that southern line. As the early kick does come from Crossland, dummy half behind the 40. Chased back there by Jareen Buller. Great 40-20. Phoenix Crossland finds the touch 5 shy of the corner flag on that eastern side. And still no score here. An opportunity here for Newcastle, Bridget Murphy in West Tigers territory.
Yeah, absolutely. You forget in those sort of moments when Phoenix Crossland dishes something up like that. He's played majority of his juniors and start of his career as a half, and you get those little moments of kicks and really pinpoint kicks from Phoenix Crossland that reminds you of that. So good stuff from Newcastle.
He saw Jareen Buller too far up and took the full advantage that time, Phoenix Crossland. So they'll tap here, 10 metres out. Brown off to Jacob Safidi, and he's tackled 5 shy, right-hand side of the post. Well, and then Crossland back across here to Brown, and Bunty Afoa envelops him with safe half, and he'll play it. 7 metres out, left-hand side of the post this time. Tackle 3 here for the Knights. Mooney with a flat ball off to Safidi as the props combine, and he's slammed to the turf again this time. It comes across to Brown. Quick pass to Sharp. Awkward there it was for Bradman Best. Had some work to do and knocks on. Wasn't the best pass, and as it turns out, it gives the ball back here to West Tigers. 10 metres out from that northern goal line here. No score, Newcastle and West Tigers here. 6 minutes played in the first half on ABC Sport. 0467920222. You wouldn't want to boo the Tigers if you were the reigning wooden spooners, says Tim. Oh, Tim. Come on, Bridge.
No, I'll take the high ground. No, we'll see what happens.
Tigers to win from David Nowra. Thank you, Tim, for your text. Dion, thank you. Always good to hear from you, Dion. Scrum feed here for West Tigers. 15 out from that northern line. They go again on the advance, and Taylor May is dragged back inside his own 20-metre line now, as it is fed across on a centre field carry. Croker makes the tackle in there on Starford Toa, next Newcastle night. The 30 they go here, the West Tigers. Still looking for the first points of the game. Played there by Sione Fono. Now comes the right-hand side. And now it is with Tony Suka, who slammed to the turf. 40 out, 20 in from the western side, right in front of us here at Hunter Stadium. Seafarth, a centre field run. He broke one tackle, brought down from behind there by Mooney. Last played Tigers as Croissau slings the pass wide to Dewey. Couple of steps and the kick up towards Kalen Ponga. Takes the catch, getting out from his own line, and now breaks out the 20-metre line now. But he's hung on for dear life down there by Suka, who's a bit slow getting up, the West Tigers back rower. Knights on the attack here with Marzu, and he gets the 35 out from his own line. This is tackle 3 now for the home side. No score so far, Knights and Tigers. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport now. It's an error made by Brown, and loose ball pounced on here by the West Tigers, and Taylor May gets it. So 30 out, 20 in eastern side. He lost the ball in the tackle that time to Dylan Brown. A couple of big West Tigers bodies all over him. And now Terrell May, 25 out. Centre field, Croissau across to Dewey, onto his halves partner in Luai. Catch and release here. It comes to Taruva. He slips over as Bradman Best gets him in concert with Fletcher Sharp. And now 15 away from Newcastle's line, southern end. West Tigers on the attack. Open side left they come. Still midway through the set as Seafarth is put down there by Dylan Lucas. Great tackle. Off to Croissau. Open side left here as Dewey feeds it back to Bunty Afoa on the inside. The footy's just in there with Bunty Afoa. Played to Croissau. Left-hand side this time. Luai thinks about the kick. Shares it back by hand to Terrell May. Now Croissau. Dewey comes off Sharp. It might be 6 more. No, Sharp gets there first. And Newcastle recovers possession. Dean Hallertau. It's still no score after 8.5 minutes.
Yeah, great job there by Fletcher Sharp once again. He deflects the ball. You heard the referee say 6 again, but he jumps up and grabs the ball and gets his team possession. Just a bit of a change-up we see with the Tigers. It happens a little bit. Starford Toa is actually on the left wing with Taylor May at centre, and on the right side, it's just Sunia Taruva playing right centre.
Sharp again slips over. So we're seeing the, even though it's dry overhead, Bridget Murphy, some issues for players and then keeping their feet.
Yes, it is. Like, just looking out over the pitch at the moment, there is a bit of pitch breakup, and it is quite dewy out there, so a bit of a tricky one to manage.
Adam Dewey, maybe. 9 minutes gone first half here on ABC Sport. End of the the set here from the Knights out towards that far wing, which Dean Hallertau mentioned, and brought back there by Starford Toa. Play at 25 out from his own line. 9.5 played in this first half. After earlier in Canberra, the Raiders 24 beat St George Illawarra 16. And across it comes to Taruva. On tackle 3, make it 4 now for the visitors. Dummy half Croysau to Seyfarth, and he just goes storming into Crossland and Mooney and co. On halfway here now for West Tigers. Through hands it comes. Luai looked flat at best, I reckon, there to Sione Fonu. He'll play it 35 out. Croysau to his left now, the blind side for Luai. Puts up a high kick. Palmer calls for it, comes crashing in. Their first was Taruva. It's come off West Tigers, so still the last. It bounced on here by Gagai. He's got open space ahead of him here over halfway. Gagai stolen away by Dewey. 1-on-1 steal. He takes off. Marziu chasing him. He ducks back on the inside. Dewey. Get to the punter. Run down by Bradman Best. Wow, what a play. Dewey, play it 10 out, right hand side of the sticks. Dummy half Buller. Pass floated forward there for Croysau, and now he's put down. 7 out from Newcastle's line. Desperate defence here for the home side. 6 more West Tigers tackles as well. Comes to Jerome Luai early in the set. Back to Terrell May. Catching, assessing the options. Took on Mooney, takes on Crossland. Brought down here by the latter. And he'll play it 8 metres out, left-hand side of the uprights. Croysau comes back to the right-hand side for Seyfarth. He takes on Mooney as well. No score so far. Knights Tigers NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Tackle 3 here, West Tigers. Croysau off to Afoa, and he was caught by Mooney. He's 4 metres shy of Newcastle's line. Croysau to Seyfarth. Right-hand side, Dewey. In close here for Tony Suka, who takes 2 defenders with him and might just get the footy down. He scores a try. Big Tony Suka. West Tigers score first here. 4-0 kick to come after 12 minutes. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Dean Hallertau.
Yeah, well, it started all the way back with the good run, or the scoop up by Dane Gagai to get into the backfield off a loose ball. But then Adam Dewey with the one-on-one strip in the run of play. He almost gets there himself. The cover defence from the Newcastle Knights is strong. They shut him down. And the Tigers, I thought, throughout this set, they didn't really have much on offer. It was a really sort of disjointed set. But then Adam Dewey is still recovering from that run. He gets the ball almost flat-footed. He sort of staggers his run into the line, and it just does enough to hold up the defence of the Newcastle Knights. And Suka, he runs through like a smallish gap and is able to use his big frame to drag Fletcher Sharp over the line.
Touchline we go, Bridget Murphy.
Yeah, it was a bit of an unfortunate one at the start of that passage of play there. Dane Gagai, right in front of him, had open space to just run forward, but instead you could see that he was trying to get towards the touchline to hopefully link up with one of the wingers and hopefully maybe give the ball to someone who's got a bit more pace on him, even though he is one of the fastest blokes that you could have out there. So a bit of a weird choice from Dane Gagai, and unfortunately for Knights fans, seeing Adam Dewey back at full strength is proving to be quite dangerous.
Here he is with the ball on the tee, 21 metres out and 14 metres in from the western sideline. I just saw your text here, Stuart, our resident poet. He said he asked Bridget Murphy, is it Dewey and Newey? I did arrive at that myself without seeing the text. But
I was having some headphone problems when you had asked me that, and then as I heard, I was like, oh, was I meant to say something very particular? But anyway.
Here is this man Adam Dewey. He's got the attempted goal. Slight angle right-hand side, and he makes no mistake first up here. West Tigers 6, Newcastle Knights 0. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. Earlier, the Canberra Raiders 24 beat the Dragons 16. Luke Lewis gave 3 points to Joe Tuppeny, 2 to Ethan Strange, and 1 to Hudson Young, who Jonty spoke to post-game. And Dewey here, meanwhile, is 1 from 1, as I write that in my schoolbook here. Shop. I can spell Nwangani Tawase. I find it hard to spell Dewey sometimes as well. Trevor says, why were positions inside centre and outside centre changed to right centre and left centre? Trevor. It's one of those terminology things.
I just put more threat either side more often throughout sets.
Yeah. But as far as the word itself, does it really matter?
Well, you just got left. There used to be the centre playing inside the outside centre, so they had one shift to one side.
13 minutes gone in this game so far. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Dean Hallertau and Bridget Murphy here under Stadium Stadium as the West Tigers go on the attack to set after points. Terrell May, Jerome Luai, and now Sione Fainu in his 50th NRL game. He stopped 30 out, 20 in from that eastern side in front of the scaffolded top tier of the Andrew Johns stand. Back on the inside here for Terrell May. Played to Croydon, early kicked from behind the 40. Pretty Crossland style, and it bounces just shy of the 20-metre line there from that attempt from Appy Croydon. So it remains West Tigers 6, Newcastle Knights 0 after nearly 14 minutes here on ABC Sport. Another one here as well. Big Tony says one texter. I think that's from Tim. Colleen from Brisbane. Hi kids, love listening to you calling my Knights. A big call out to my family listening in New South Wales. Michael, Carol and Dina. Cheers, Colleen from Brisbane. Paul in Coffs Harbour says a new betting pool here at home is who is that guy going to swap jerseys with? Favourite Croysau. We'll see. Set restart Newcastle, by the way. So played there by McEwen. Crossland swings it across on this very early tackle in the set. Now Mooney hits the deck. 8 short of the halfway. It's West Tigers 6, Newcastle 0. 14 going first half. Croker through hands and now Sharp on here to the left-hand side of the field. And now playing it out there is Dylan Lucas. Just inside West Tigers territory. Strong centre field run here now from Safiti, but he is stopped eventually down there by Bunty Afoa. 35 out centre field. Slow getting up here is Jacob Safiti. He played to Crossland on this second last tackle. Through hands, Brown to Ponga to Gagai. Dangerous. Skips past Taylor May, but he is eventually claimed. 25 out and in from the eastern side. Ponga across to Brown. Couple of steps. Now the kick cross field. Best was lurking from behind on Turuva. Batted back there into the path of Dewey. And it was deemed to be Tigers first. So it will be Newcastle scrum feet here. 10 metres out from that northern goal line. 15 minutes gone so far. 6-0 West Tigers.
Yeah, well, Sunia Taruva, he was pleading with his teammates to challenge this. Here we go.
Challenge here for the Tigers. The on-field decision was a knock-on for Sunia.
He believes he knocked it backwards and he ended up obviously further behind the ball.
That's how it looked to the naked eye. That the call was pretty immediate there from the ref.
Both players are heading for the ball.
Voice of Grant Atkins.
Taruva gets his hand to it first. Just need to look at any direction.
I won't tell us on that angle. Now we go more like the broadcast angle.
If it comes off his right arm, it looks like it goes back.
Bradman Best.
Initially.
And still up in perspective from the touch from Cement.
Did Best reach with his left hand and touch the ball? Ooh.
I think that initial one's backwards, but then it's so hard to get the right perspective.
This is where I lose track of things. This is where Luke Lewis is fantastic. I can't see.
Based on the available angles, you don't see any touch from Bradman Best.
Well retained.
Unless he calls it a knock-on.
Yeah. It might be one of those ones that comes back for insufficient evidence. That's behind the goalpost, so we can't see that angle either.
Just looking at this angle here, the left hand of Bradman Best. It touches his hand after going backwards from Samir. There's a knock-on from the Newcastle Knights.
Look at all they want to West Tigers. So that will be a successful challenge. We got there at last. Bridget Murphy still 6-0 West Tigers.
Sorry, I'm going to giggle.
Who was that?
I don't know.
That was Sunia Taruva.
Yeah. Thank you.
Just a note as well, while we were waiting for that challenge to come through, Jacob Safidi spent quite a bit of time with the trainer. He's been clutching it. He's sort of underneath his armpit, more his ribs. So we'll keep an eye on Jacob Safidi. But one change that's been made for the West Tigers, Bunty Afoa off the field, Fanua Pole on.
Okay, thank you, Bridge. That was a late switch, which had Bolle initially starting then on the bench, and so he's now on the field for Fanua Bolle for Bunty Afoa. Play there, Gerald Skelton Croyce. Now look past to his left now. Forced Sunia Taruva. Scored a hat-trick when these sides last met, round 6 at Campbelltown. And now it comes across through centre field as a tackle is made. Crossland and Safidi on the ball carrier for Fanua Bolle. Safar, little pump here in the pass across to Jerome Luai. Back on the inside for Sione Fainu. 40 out, 20 in from the eastern side here. West Tigers on the attack with a 6-0 lead. This is second last play. And he stands in the tackle there. There's Terrell May on Phoenix Crossland. Swings the pass across to Dewey to end the set. The high kick down towards Marziu's wing. Going up first in there was Jarrell Skelton. Batted it back and then it was eventually over the western touchline. And it will be Newcastle's ball in their own end, southern side of Hunter Stadium, where the home side trails 6-0 after 16 minutes being held out.
Yeah, well, both teams have some similarities in their starting locks. Alex Seyfarth, who's earned himself a start this afternoon, he's kind of that link player between the middle and the edges, and he has a tough carry when he needs to. But Matt Croker, very similar for the Knights. He's that workload guy through the middle.
25 out from their own line here. Here is Dane Gagai, who, as our texter mentioned, has been swapping jerseys after every game as part of his, well, he doesn't call it the farewell tour, does he? But he's obviously in the twilight of his career, and he's got at least one more year at the Brisbane Broncos next year, Dane Gagai. So Dewey drags back Lucas in the tackle. 35 out here, Newcastle from their own line. Through hands Croker to Brown. Woody saw a gap there, but it closes quickly. Jerome Luai and Sione Fainu play it now. 40 out, 20 in from that far side. Plonga gets the play going here, and now Jermaine McEwen crashes to the deck after the tackle in there of Taylor May, and he's slow getting up there, the West Tigers centre. So time off blown by referee Peter Goff, as it remains West Tigers 6, Newcastle 0 after 17 minutes. Touchline Bridget Murphy.
Yeah, it was a bit of a strong collision with Taylor May and Jermaine McEwen. We see Taylor May go into around the waist of Jermaine McEwen, and looks, I'd be very surprised if this is not a HIA. He's still down on his knees, so we'll see what happens if he'll be going for an assessment.
G'day Dino, says Filthy. Great to have Dewey back. Yes, I struggle to spell his name too. Michael from Canberra, thanks folks for keeping this disappointed St George fan company walking home from Bruce to Lynham in Canberra in the rain. Michael, thank you for your text, Michael.
Yeah, it's a shoulder. He had a shoulder dislocation not long ago. To Taylor May, and he's gone in. That shoulder was extended as he made that contact, and you can see with the trainer at the moment, he's kind of cradling that right arm, so not good signs. There's an immediate reaction from their orange shirt.
Enter and Masi Nakasini off the bench in jersey number 18. His 11th career game. Recently re-signed until 2029. And now the end of Newcastle's set. The kick from Dylan Brown. High and long downfield. Gerald Skelton ducks the oncoming traffic there at Bradman Best. And now is claimed by Marziu and Lucas on that left edge Newcastle defence. West Tigers on the attack with a 6-0 lead. They've had far more balls. Well, I haven't checked the stats just yet, Dino, but it seems like it's been all their sort of possession so far, the visitors, as we approach the midway stage of the opening 40 minutes. Another strong centre field carry from Fanua Bolle. He's 5 inside Knights territory. Coruscant picks up a dummy half, shares it with Jerome Luai, and he goes crashing into Safidi and McEwen. It'll be last play, West Tigers, 30 out from that southern line. Coruscant onto the run there of Adam Dewey. He gets a pass away here to Taruva. He kicks in field. Put there by Jacob Safidi, quick as a flash, and now he is tackled 20 out on that kick return from his own line. Newcastle back on the attack.
Yeah, great reaction there by Jacob Safidi, the big man coming back through the middle. Obviously would have been sucking in big ones, but the ball came really quickly, bounced straight up into his breadbasket. He was able to give his team possession.
63% possession for West Tigers so far for that 6-0 lead. Here's Croker on tackle 3 for the Newcastle Knights. Played to Crossland, looks to his right hand side. Brown to Ponga to Gagai, not quite to Dom Young as he's put down out there by Starford Toa. Is Dane Gagai, a player, metre short of halfway. Crossland looks across now for Croker, and he angles his run over halfway. It'll be last play Newcastle, metre inside West Territory. Comes off here to Kalen Ponga, and he just boots it off that left peg. High through the air. It's taken there by Jareem Buller, and he returns that kick to 23 out from his own line at Northern End. It remains West Tigers 6, Newcastle Knights 0 after 19 minutes here at Hunter Stadium in Newcastle. Earlier, Canberra 24, St George Illawarra 16. More More on that later on. Of course, we'll look ahead to next week, NRLW round 1 and NRL round 18. Plenty of footy to come yet here at Newcastle. Here's the run from Terrell May on tackle 4. 5 short of the halfway for West Tigers. Lost his boot in the process as he played it as well. And now over halfway they go with Fanua Bolle. Stands in the tackle of Dylan Lucas, who'll play it 40 out from Newcastle's line. They come short side right. Running kick from Dewey. Ponga's there to field the footy now. Always got an unkind bounce, but gets there on time. And now slips over as Luai greets him 15 out from his own line.
Just watching Matt Croker as he wheeled back from that last, he had a big contact on Taylor May and he reeled out it with a shoulder injury of his own. Let's see how he goes.
They shift it left to right. This time Young on the inside, bounces away. You've got Gagai on the outside. Young is still going towards the halfway. Now he's over and he can't quite get past the fullback. Great desperate tackle made there by Jareen Buller. Player 35 out here for the Knights. Positioned well here the home side. Best tackle gets up out of the star forward, the Gerald Skelton tackle, and now we'll play it. 17 out, left-hand side of the post. Only tackle 3 here for the Knights. Lucas across to Sharp and now Crossland. Out to Dylan Brown. The Newcastle chant rings around the stadium, and Brown now goes to ground. 22 out, centre field here for the Knights. They trail 6-0. Crossland to his left now for Sharp, to Ponga, and again he slips over. On his backside, just sends the pass back to Dylan Brown. They lose some ground there, 30 out, and Brown tackled. Big defensive play made there as he slams Dylan Brown on his back to Jerome Luai. 25 out, 20 in from that far side. Last play, it comes to Ponga. Up goes the kick. Young bats it back in the field of play. Up against the eastern touchline. Gagai's kick comes off Starford Toa. Will be 6 more Newcastle. It's pounced on by the home side, and now it's a bit of a scuffle on the eastern touchline with Starford Toa, and he's saying it's a change over here. Peter Goff.
There was a deflection from a Tigers player, and I think Dane Gagai probably thought he had 6 again. Or wasn't Dane Gagai, sorry, they got the deflected ball. It was McEwen.
McEwen pounced on it. They're going to challenge it.
Newcastle challenging tackle complete, saying that the kick was played at.
Yeah, I think the replay might vindicate them here. 18:50 left in this first half. Still 6-0 West Tigers. Here's Joey Atkins in the bunker.
Starts at toe is planted when the ball strikes him. There's no change of gait to play at the ball.
No change of gait.
Newcastle Knights is unsuccessful.
Challenge is unsuccessful.
I love those sort of terms, but yes, unsuccessful challenge here for the home side. Still 6-0 West Tigers. Touchline we go, Bridget Murphy.
Yeah, I think that was a silly use of a challenge. Dane Gagai was very much asking Kalen Ponga to take a look at that one. And you could see as soon as that ball hit the West Tigers player's foot, Dane Gagai was trying to wave his fist going 6 again. So a bit of confusion there. Maybe Gags was trying to just, influence some things here. And a fun fact about Dane Gagai's game today, the club let us know this week, they did the maths. With this game, he overtakes Andrew Eddinghausen as the most capped centre in the NRL.
There we go. I don't want to hear Andrew Moore say shut. They don't want to change the gate. Change the gate rather than shut the gate. Newcastle West Tigers. Starford Toa, 30 out centre field. We've played here for Croysow, tackle 3. Across to Seyfarth, and he loses the footy in the Lucas tackle. So Newcastle force the error. And now they'll have field position inside West Tigers territory. But they still trail 6-0 here in the final game of NRL round 17.
Yeah, let's see Kalen Ponga try and get involved as much as possible through this set. I mentioned earlier about his prowess on the left-hand side, but a lot of joy already this afternoon has come to the right-hand side when he's linking with Dane Gagai and Dominic Young.
At one stage had 63% possession for the first quarter hour of the game. West Tigers with a 6-0 lead. Try scorer Tony Suka. That was in the 10th minute. Newcastle scrum, 30 out centre field. They come left-hand side of it with Kalen Ponga. He darts away from 1, 2, back on the inside of Dewey. Feeds it off here to Dylan Lucas. And Lucas is stopped by Seyfarth. 15 out left-hand side of the post. Crossland across here now again to Trey Mooney. Bounced off the Terrell May tackle. Still going here post-contact. He'll play it 5 out in front of the sticks. Crossland on tackle 3. Goes to his right-hand side. And now Brown back on the inside for Jacob Safiti. Can Newcastle find their first points here? Crossland dummy half. A couple of steps. Now the pass to Brown. Now back to Mooney. Mooney offloads here on the bounce. The Fletcher Sharp the ball went forward. So it'll all come to nothing there for the Newcastle Knights, and it remains 6-0 West Tigers here with 17 left in this first half. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport.
Yeah, it was a nice play actually from the Newcastle Knights throughout the set. A couple of real chances when they're pushing at the edges, and Trey Mooney, he's so strong in the upper body. When you tackle him high, you have to do your best to lock the ball up. He got the arm free, but a last-minute reaction by the Tigers defence is able to knock the arm loose as he throws that ball forward.
2 around the ground scores shortly as well. Jodes and Mackay, hope you're listening to Spriggy Shop and Bridge on the sideline. Thank you, Jodes. Right-hand side of the scrum, they come here, West Tigers. And Fletcher Sharp makes the tackle there on Gerald Skelton, playing his 7th game this year. It's Aruba on this right edge. West Tigers lead 6-0 under increasingly overcast skies here at the stadium. Keep an eye on that one, Bridge. Here they come, open side left. And again, the try scorer, Tony Suka, has his run stopped. 35 out, 20 in from the western side. Jerome Luai off to Doreen Buller in space. And now a great desperate chase and tackle out there from Dylan Brown. Luai quickly from dummy half, links up with Macassini. He's out there for Taylor May, who suffered what looks like a bad shoulder injury. 35 out here, West Tigers. Last play, it comes to Dewey. And that right foot kick high in the air. Out there for the wing of Gerald Skelton. And now he brings it down here for a changeover. 13 out from Newcastle's line. Knights back on the attack. Touch time to go, Bridget Murphy.
Yeah, you just mentioned there Taylor May. I did pop over to ask what the situation was. There was no updates there, so I'll keep on it. But yeah, unfortunately, they did say that he definitely won't be back for this evening.
Around the grounds, New South Wales Cup second half, Canterbury 58 leads Manly 10. Second half, Queensland Cup, South Logan 14 leads North Devils 8. AFL half time, North Melbourne 39 leads Essendon 30. That's what's happening elsewhere. Crossland dummy half here on play 3, make it 4 now for the Knights. And now Ponga is held by Jerome Luai, heard there from ref Peter Goff. Crossland back here now for Croker over his own 40-metre line, and now he's stopped 5 short of the halfway. It will be last play Newcastle, who trails 6-0 at the hands of West Tigers in this final game of round 17. Ready for brain cancer round as Dylan Brown's kick does end the set. Down at that far side of the ground, Starford Toa brings it back there into Fletcher Sharp, and also Mooney, centre field, 20 out from his own line.
It was a great kick chase there by the Newcastle Knights, and Jacob Saifidi, he's been really impressive this year, just for his efforts. His fitness seems to be really high, and he continues to have great stints in his opening stages.
On comes Mav Gaia here for West Tigers as well, so he sets up here and receives the footy from Appy Croissau on his first run inside the opening seconds for him in this game. Maverick Gaia, 8 short of the halfway, played Croissau, and now Jerome Luai skips away, shares the pass here, and they thought it was 40 of the home crowd, out to Sione Fono, play a metre inside Newcastle territory. Last play, West Tigers, 6-0 their lead, as Dewey sends a long raking ball down towards Greg Marju, and he'll catch and run now, 20 out from his own line, but it back towards Bradman Best. He straightens his run towards halfway, Bradman Best, and now stopped by Gaia, and he'll play it 5 short of the halfway for Newcastle. No set restart forthcoming. It's only played 2 here for them though. Left to right they go. Ponga across the Brown. Now McEwen to Gagai. And Gagai is taken in the legs by Starford Toa. Brown to the short side right here as Ponga's pass releases McEwen. Now he's run down 25 out by Macassini. Young here on only play 4 here. It's opportunity right to left. They come. It's with Tyson Frizzell. Speaking of players coming off the bench. Frizzell now inside the West Tigers red zone. Plays it 18 out in the field. Crossland to Brown. Left-hand side now. The Fletcher Sharp. He dummies not quite there. Dewey gets him. Last play Newcastle. 3 out from that northern goal line. Crossland across to Brown. And he kicks. Oh, well taken there. Superb stuff from Croissau, who in turn slips over and is stopped by Dylan Lucas. 20 out from his own line.
Yeah, how often does Appy Croissau turn up where it matters most? And he's so energetic through the middle. He works very hard, but he does a great job there to snare that short kick off the ground, or the half volley, and get his team the ball back.
12:50 left first half. You're with Brett Sprigg, Dean Hallertau, Bridget Murphy at Newcastle's Hunter Stadium. It's West Tigers 6, Newcastle 0 on the scoreline, scoreboard rather. Here's Matt Guy, player tackle 4. Croissau takes off, gains a few more over halfway, shares it back to Terrell May. Right hand side of the field they come, and Buller has options but holds the footy, and the tacklers hold him 35 out from that northern goal line. Dummy half Taruva off to Dewey. probing ball, which is taken easily on the bounce by Kalen Ponga on Newcastle's 10-metre line, and they start their next set as he's met 28 from his own line. Back to the touchline, Bridget Murphy.
Just spoke with West Tigers officials here down on the bench, confirming that it is with Taylor May a shoulder injury and definitely won't be back today. Looks to be quite serious.
And that's concerning, Dean, for a number of reasons. You mentioned he's had a history of those injuries. Untidy pass here. McEwen lost it, and now it's pounced on by Macassini. So West Tigers here, despite that injury concern, have their tails up with a 6-0 lead. Luai feeds the ball off here towards Starford Toa, and he's 11 out from Newcastle's line, left-hand side of the post. Set restart West Tigers. Croysau slows the play down, shares the pass to Terrell May, and he's taken there by 3 Newcastle defenders. 9 metres shy, right-hand side of the upright southern end. Croysau. Looks like he's already quite tired here at dummy half. We don't know how tireless he is. And he sets up behind this next carrier in Fanua-Bolle. Comes across, open side left, Dewey. Inside ball now for Sione Fainu. Crossland gets in desperate defence, and now he's brought down 3 metres out from Newcastle's line. It's only play 3 here for West Tigers. Croysau back to Dewey. Shares the pass to Buller. Tips on to Taruva. He takes off. Goes further outside here towards Gerald Skelton, and now he's pounced on there by Bradman Best. Great defensive work there from Bradman Best. 10 out from Newcastle's line. Played to Taruva. Open side left, Buller, and now Dewey. In close to Maverick Geyer. And he stands, and now he's put down the tackle of Cody Hopwood. 13 out right-hand side of the post. Last play, West Tigers, 6-0 their lead. As it comes to Dewey. Pass across there again, Gerald Skelton, but Marju stops him in his tracks. Deep in that south-western corner of Under Stadium. And it remains West Tigers 6, Newcastle 0, with 10.5 left to the break. Dean Hallertau.
Yeah, well, you mentioned how fatigued Happy Croysau looked in the middle of the field, but they looked fatigued across the field. The West Tigers, very slow set. The passes were slow, not out in front. It was a little bit clunky through that whole passage of play. Newcastle defence really ate up all their shifts.
And here go the Newcastle Knights. I mentioned Cody Hopwood, who's out there, and he'll be playing it. 13 out from his own line. The former West Maitland Wallaroo in his 7th career game. And beyond their own 20-metre line they go as the pass is fed back to Fletcher Sharp from Tyson Gazelle, and Sharp now cut down by Croysau. 30 outs in the field. Midway through the set now for the Newcastle Knights. It's West Tigers who lead though 6-0 here on ABC Sport as it's run there by Sandon Smith. 40 out they go now, and now it's been lost on the right edge. Looked like an untidy pass there from McEwen, but Gaggai's also made the error. So it will remain West Tigers 6, Newcastle Knights 0. Round the grounds New South Wales Cup, Canterbury 64, Manly 10 in the second half there. Second half Queensland Cup, South Logan 14 leads North Devils 8 off the SMS. Derek and Ann, Spriggy, Dean and Bridgie had a hot bath outdoors in the old cast iron bathtub by the fire, listening to the footy. We're so relaxed, we probably won't text in the Savo. Derek and Ann from Howard, Queensland. Fantastic. Scrum feed here for West Tigers, just inside Newcastle territory, southern side of that halfway line. And now it's with Gerald Skelton, who's tackled, plays it here to Croysau. Open side left at the try scorer, Tony Suka. Only try of the game so far for the West Tigers back rower. And Croysau waits at dummy half to get this second play of the set going. It comes from Terrell May back to Maverick Geyer. Now he's lost the footy, and that will be error for West Tigers. I joked a couple of weeks ago, Dean, that his old man went from Penrith to Balmain over to Perth for the Western Reds. But what if he does the same thing this week? Matt Geyer, here he is. Mate, Penrith to, well, not Balmain, but the Tigers, of course, in their current iteration. Of course, off to the Perth Bears next year. So make of that what you will. 8 minutes left first half. West Tigers 6, Newcastle 0. Touchline Bridget Murphy.
Really interesting interchanges is made by the Newcastle Knights. Sandon Smith is on the field. Jacob Saifidi has come from the field just before the end of the half. So Newcastle at the moment have got their 3 kind of halves options all on the field at the one time. We'll see what that does for their attack.
So Smith, Frizzell and Hopwood used off the bench so far. I mentioned that Fletcher Hunt played New South Wales Cup in Tamworth on Friday night and may yet see some minutes if he is required. Now it's been lost by Tyson Frizzell. So it's just an error-a-thon here at Hunter Stadium as Tigers go up with the footy here, and now Macassini makes the break, but he's run down by Dylan Brown and will play it about 17 out on that far edge of Hunter Stadium. West Tigers 6, Newcastle 0 the scoreline, and they rumble upfield here inside the 10-metre line. We're going to be set restart here for West Tigers. Had a few of those in this game so far. Open side right to Rel May, bounced off Crossland, and also in there was Hopwood, and Frizzell comes in to make the tackle, and now he'll play it there. Croissau looks left but goes right to Dewey. Can he engineer something for them? As Buller finds Saruva. Dangerous right edge attack here for the West Tigers. Best makes the tackle. Now it's been lost to the play the ball there by Sydney Taruva. Well, it's been, as I said, just an error-riddled last sort of 5 or 10 minutes here in this game. Now it's out for both sides.
Yeah, yes, spot on. It's been hard to watch. Obviously, opportunities are popping up. When teams see opportunities and they try and find, almost impossible passes or quick passes, and it's a little bit unplanned, it can start to get messy, and we're seeing it from both sides at the moment. Sydney Taruva, he had an opportunity to skip outside Bradman Best, but then he tries to play the ball way too quickly and just throws it down on the ground.
Penalty count 1-0 West. Set restarts have been 3-1 West Tigers way. And it will be a Newcastle scrum fit on their own 10-metre line as Sharp at the base of it goes off to his right for Dane Gagai, the veteran. Bounced off one tackle and now claimed in centre field by Fanua Bolle and Appy Croissau. 6 minutes left in this first half. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. West Tigers 6, Newcastle Knights 0 after earlier Canberra 24 beat St George Illawarra 16. As I said, we'll wrap up that and the entire round later on this evening. Frizzell on a post-contact carry here. Plays it now for Crossland. 35 out here. And McEwen flattens Jerome Luai. And in turn, Nakasimi flattens him. Play it there for the Newcastle Knights. On this second last play of the set, Dylan Brown now collared by Jerome Luai. Just inside West Tigers territory. 10 in from the eastern side. Crossland. Pass off to Ponga. His left foot kick wobbles through the Newcastle sky. Taken down there by Jerome Buller. And Buller steps into a red and blue wall of defenders. 25 out from his own line. 5 minutes and 15 seconds left to half time here in Newcastle. Here's Starford Toa back on the advance here for West Tigers. Croissau feeds it across now for Dewey. To the right edge now, this time for Gerald Skelton. And he is tackled by Lucas. 40 out, 20 in, western side. Dummy half Croissau. Back to Jareen Buller. He got away there from McEwen. Shared the pass off towards Fainu. And somehow he keeps the footy in his keeping. Again, 20 in from that far side. 40 out from their own line, West Tigers. Terrell May only gains about 5 or 6 here before he's taken by Hopwood. Peter shot a halfway here. Last play for West Tigers with 4:40 on the clock in this first half. The pass comes to Dewey. And he again sends a high, long kick down towards Greg Marju. Takes only 5 out from his own line. And the Newcastle winger is collected 20 metres out from that southern goal line. Played to Fletcher Sharp quickly. Bradman Best bursts away here. Of course, he returned last week from that calf injury, Bradman Best. And now he'll play at 35 out to Fletcher Sharp. Across it comes here to Shannon Smith. And now Ponga. Left to right shift here with Dom Young. Gets away from one. Shoves away Jerome Luai. Dragged down from behind down there eventually by Luai and also Starford Toll. It's going to be set restart Newcastle. The West Tigers slowing the ruck down. So it comes across open side left here for Cody Hopwood. The big tall figure of Hopwood is claimed 30 outs in the field. So still a whole set to work with here for the Newcastle Knights inside West Territory. Frizzell gains a dozen now. It's still West Tigers 6, Knights 0. Dummy half Crossland across to Smith. And now Dylan Brown feeds it back to Ponga. Spun by Nakasimi. Got the pass to Gagai. Young's all by himself. Takes on Starford Toll on the inside. Dom Young will play it 9 away from West Tigers line, northern end of Hunter Stadium. Gagai dummy half. Back to Brown. Still 3 tackles left in this set. Crossland dummies and now carries it into Gaia and also Terrell May. 10 outs on the field here, the home side. Can they find their first points? Comes to Ponga. Steps back infield here away from Gaia. Feeds it across here to Dylan Brown. And now he kicks for the corner and it's gutted dead by Jareen Buller. So again, it looked good for the most part, Newcastle, but no points forthcoming this time. Restart from 20 and 7 tackles here for West Tigers. They lead 6-0 in Hallertau.
Yeah, you could see his hands on his head there. Dylan Brown, he knew that the kick probably wasn't the right option because they were stripping them for numbers. The Tigers' defence was really struggling to get organised, and I know there was space in behind, but he puts too much weight on the ball. Gives a 7 tackle set back to the opposition.
2:40 left in the first half as afternoon moon becomes night here in Newcastle with the light towers now. How would you describe it? Burning bright. Croeso off to the left-hand side, end of the weekend shop. It's always the way. Fanua Bolle now, metre short of halfway for West Tigers. They still lead 6-0. Croeso off to Dewey on play 4. Runs the footy here into Best and Sharp on that right edge in attack. Left edge Newcastle defence. Croeso on this second last play. Off here again to Terrell May, who was again among those try scorers last time these sides met. And he played here 25 out. Comes to Dewey. Last play of the set. Ponga launches from his own goal line, comes down without the football, and now it's Guy who feeds it back. Almost sent that pass sort of the head of Peter Goff, who deems it was in fact double knock on, so it was Newcastle first. West Tigers scrum feed, 10 out from that southern line. Touchline we go, Bridget Murphy.
It's raining.
Oh no.
This is my first rainy game this season. It's happened. So we were talking a lot, of course, throughout this first half about the ground conditions, breaking apart, bit slippery. It's going to get all harder from here. Maybe well timed for half time, about a minute away.
Literally, as you said that, everyone's reaching for the ponchos and the brollies. There was no inkling of that, apart from the big clouds overhead.
Everyone's already looks like they're going in towards the bar.
Yeah, well,
Might as well.
70 seconds left of the break. West Tigers 6, Newcastle 0, as Luai feeds off to Macassini, and he's put down out there by Gagai and Brown. Play it now 5 out left-hand side of the post. Croyce out, ends up with Terrell May. Backs his way to Dylan Lucas, and he'll now play it 7 metres shy of Newcastle's line. Play 3 here for West Tigers. Croyce out to Luai, and now Suka, who scored the only try of the game so far, is stopped in his tracks right across Landon Sharp. 5 out, right-hand side of the post this time. 40 seconds left of the break. Luai inside ball here now for Fanua Bolle. And again, plenty of ball inside that 10-metre line. Now it's going to be set restart West Tigers as Obi Croeso loses the footy. So that saves the Newcastle Knights with 22 seconds left in the half.
Yeah, he was too busy singling 6 again himself there, Happy Croeso, and he has to reach down, pick the ball up. He fumbled. I thought he almost come up with it or saved it, but he comes up with the error, and I'll be surprised if we get this scrum back in time. Neither team really showing any urgency.
Rowdy Andy says, Newcastle are about as rusty as my neighbour's old tin gate. Well, Rowdy Andy, you can always change the gate, as Grant Atkins correctly deemed earlier on that challenge for a ball played at. That is half-time here at a now rainy Hunter Stadium, and it is 6-0 West Tigers. Tony Suka, the only try scorer after 10 minutes. Adam Dewey with the conversion shortly after that. That's all the points scored in the game so far. They had 56% possession in the first half, the visitors. 86% completion versus 50% for Newcastle. If you're incomplete in half your sets, you will not win too many games of football, will you, Dean Hallertau? Post-contact metres, more of those for Newcastle by a factor of 2. Line breaks 2-1. That made 2 more tackle breaks as well, and penalty count I mentioned was 1-0 West Tigers. Ruck infringements made a total of 4-2 West Tigers way. Tigers have used so far Fanua Bolle, Marcy Macassini and Maverick Geyer off the bench. They told Bridget Murphy that they suspect a serious shoulder injury for centre Taylor May, who suffered that very early in the first half. And Newcastle Knights have used so far Sandon Smith, Tyson Frizzell and Cody Hopwood. But West Tigers should lead this low-scoring game 6-0 at the halftime break. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport.
Yeah, well, Spriggy, that possession rate and then the incompletions or the completion rate of the Newcastle Knights is probably the story, although they'll probably go in happy that they're only 6 points behind, considering how many errors they made, how much possession they gifted the Tigers. The Tigers just weren't really effective with it at all, were they? I mentioned throughout the half, they were very clunky with the way they were moving the ball around, looked a little bit slow, maybe a little bit fatigued. I'm not too sure why that might be, but their movements were quite slow and passes weren't really hitting the mark, so they weren't able to challenge or threaten the Newcastle defence too often. When Newcastle had the ball and they were looking to go to their right-hand side, they sort of feel like there's a bit of a weakness, I think, with the left side defence of the West Tigers. Tigers, and particularly now that Makasini's out there alongside Toa, that combination looking a little bit fragile at times, and Dom Young's made a few little breaks and gave them a real chance at scoring points. So I expected the Newcastle Knights, even though this rain set in, they'll still look to go down their right-hand side to try and get some chances in the second half. The Tigers have probably got to reset and just think about going forward with some strength, some power, some speed, and run hard first and then look for those opportunities to shift it.
Well, assuming she's not followed her fellow Novocastrians into the bar, Bridget Murphy, what did you see from down there on the sideline in the first half?
I'm waiting down here for Dino to finish up what he had to say so I could say and go and escape into the tunnel. Look, it's I think Newcastle's got a lot of building back to do. I think I'm excited to see if Sandon Smith, Fletcher Sharp and Dylan Brown all stay on the field into this second half at the same time. I'm excited to see what that will do for a bit more flair in the Newcastle Knights attack, because they are just at times looking really flat, but then there's green shoots. So we'll see what happens there. But this West Tigers side, let's hope, as Dino said, for an exciting game of footy that they get a bit of a rest in during the break and come out fit and firing.
Thanks, Bridge. More from you in the second half. And hear the rain on the umbrella there as well, which, just started raining right before half time. 0467 920 222. Neil says sometimes the big clouds overhead can provide you with a fair indication that it is going to rain. This is the weather guy over here, Neil. Thank you, Neil. I love listening in, what's this, Loganville, Vanuatu, Doug and Sharon. We are Manly supporters, but go the Tigers. Tim's got me referred to here as Brett ESP Rig, because I mentioned the Nav Guy prediction he'd go to Perth like his old man did. Penrith to Belmont.
Rig, okay, yeah.
ESP, it's not your best work, Tim. Hi, ABC team. Illawarra League full-time scores. Thurrool 24, Collegians 18, Corrimal 14, West 8, Dapto 38, Sutherland 10. Rob says, ref only policing one side here with the restarts. River and Rooster says, today's full-time scores to wrap up Group 9's Round 9. Gunner Guy Tigers 16, beat Cootamundra Bulldogs 12, and South City Bulls 20 beat Albury Thunder 10. Thank you, River and Rooster, and thank you to those who have sent texts so far. 0467 920 222. Dr. M says, don't the inside and outside centres alternate depending on whether the play's on the left or the right?
That's the old school, yeah. When you'd have a full backline shift, it used to be 7 to 6, and then you have your inside and outside centre. That was kind of the traditional way of playing, but it's been left side, right side for a long time now. We get those halves that move across either side, and the fullbacks become that sort of extra number.
Someone asked earlier about why that terminology changed from inside and outside to left and right. I hope that answers that. New South Wales Cup full-time round the grounds. Bulldogs 64 beat the Sea Eagles 10. Queensland Cup second half, South Logan Magpies 20 lead North Devils 14. In the AFL third quarter, North Melbourne 59 leads Essendon 30. And earlier at Canberra Stadium, the Raiders broke a 3-game losing streak with a win 24-16 over the St George Illawarra Dragons. Luke Lewis giving 3 points to Joe Tarpany, 2 to Ethan Strange, and 1 to Hudson Young in the ABC Player of the Year. It is 6-0. The West Tigers lead the Newcastle Knights here under stadium right now. It's time for ABC News.
Hello, this is ABC News with David Rowlands. There are increasing signs of public frustration with the Venezuelan government's relief effort in response to the country's massive twin earthquakes that have killed at least 1,400 people, with tens of thousands still missing. The BBC's Will Grant reports from the La Guaira region, where health workers face enormous challenges.
Hospitals along the northern coastline, the worst-hit area, are at breaking point. A healthcare system underfunded for decades is now struggling to cope with a demand that would be tough for countries with much better infrastructure. Doctors and nurses are doing what they can in the most trying circumstances most will ever experience in their lives. After earthquakes, rescue teams say the first 48 hours are the most crucial. Those have long passed, and as the scale of this disaster becomes clearer to Venezuelans, they're facing the grim truth that the search for survivors will very soon become a task of retrieving the victims' bodies.
US officials say there have been no reported American casualties, major impacts or damage after Iran launched multiple missiles and drones towards neighbouring countries, including Bahrain and Kuwait. The Iranian strikes come after the US carried out new strikes over what it called violations of their interim ceasefire agreement. As the tit-for-tat strikes continue, US President Donald Trump says there may come a point where Washington will no longer be able to be reasonable. And if that happens, the Islamic Republic of Iran will no longer exist. Iran's Revolutionary Guard Corps says US attacks contradict the ceasefire agreement and will bring all ongoing processes towards a permanent peace deal to a halt. Queensland Police have taken part in a series of counter-terrorism exercises across the state in response to the fatal Bondi Beach and Bondi Junction attacks. Officers participated in drills involving armed offenders at Lang Park in Brisbane and at several shopping centres in southeast Queensland, along with Cairns, Rockhampton and Mackay. Deputy Commissioner Cheryl Scanlon says the exercises prepare police, first responders and security personnel in the case of an emergency.
This is designed so that they can respond in a coordinated and decisive manner to any type of attack that could occur. Our counter-terrorism training is practical, it's realistic and it's scenario-based. We don't wait for an incident to happen, we need to test our systems and we are testing them now.
Animal welfare agencies don't know the fate of a humpback whale that was spotted off Sydney's coast, entangled in ropes and buoys. The 8-metre whale was last spotted near Cronulla yesterday, webbed in green rope and 5 white buoys. The National Parks and Wildlife Service attached a satellite tracker to the whale, but it hasn't provided an update on its location today, preventing an attempt to disentangle it. Jessica Fox of the whale rescue organisation Orca says the humpback whale could be on the south coast if there was no change to its trajectory.
Unfortunately today we haven't had any calls in and none of our Orca members along the coast have been able to sight it. People who are out there on boats, we ask that you please look out for it.
2 hikers lost in Kosciuszko National Park have been rescued using drone technology that emergency crews believe reduced the search by days. Peter Lusted takes up the story.
2 men in their early 20s became lost and were reported missing while hiking 35 kilometres southwest of Jindabyne earlier this week. Fire and Rescue New South Wales used a remote-controlled drone with thermal imaging and AI detection to find them just 5 hours later. Emergency officials used the drone's inbuilt speaker to contact the hikers. They were eventually guided out of the park and didn't require medical treatment. Fire and Rescue New South Wales says it's the first time the technology has successfully been used to rescue a hiker.
Turning to sport, in Portugal and Colombia have played out a tense draw in their final World Cup soccer group game. Amanda Shalala reports from Boston.
Both sides had already qualified for the knockout stage, but still went all out for the win in Miami. Davidson Sanchez thought he had the winner in stoppage time, but was marginally offside. The South Americans still topped the group with that result. England finished on top of its group thanks to a 2-0 win over Panama. Harry Kane became the Three Lions' all-time leading tournament goal scorer with 11. And DR Congo's 3-1 victory over Uzbekistan has secured it a spot in the round of 32.
And the Queensland Government has locked in a deal to host a new Anzac Day Bledisloe Cup rugby union match between the Wallabies and the All Blacks. The state will hold the rugby matches at Lang Park in 2027, 2029 and 2031.
Australia have been the dominant force in women's cricket for nearly 50 years.
Australia has done it again. Australia clinches the T20 World Cup.
But without a current World Cup title, they face no shortage of challenges in their bid to return to the top. New Zealand, the current T20 champions. England, the constant threat. South Africa, a young team on the rise. India, a new force in the game.
Could be a catch. Yes, taken by the captain. Harmanpreet Kaur. India win the World Cup. Listen to the noise.
Can Australia find their best against the best and claim their 7th T20 crown? ABC Sport brings you every game of the ICC Women's T20 World Cup live and uninterrupted on ABC Listen. Just look for the cricket button.
ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
Comes to Don Young, who came from Potter initially. Young up that eastern touchline, back on the inside here to Dylan Brown, who streaks in to score. And the Knights are in after 53 seconds.
runs straight at the defender and takes him out. This now creates the 3-on-2.
So that was all the way back on the 40-metre line at the start of the play. And so, for all the excitement of that, Bridget Murphy scrubbed that back to 0-all. 4 metres shy of Newcastle's line. Croyce out of Seifar. Right-hand side, Dewey. In close here for Tony Suka, who takes 2 defenders with him and might just get the footy down. He scores a try. Big Tony Suka. West Tigers score first here. 4-0 kick to come after 12 minutes.
ABC Sports coverage of the 2026 NRL Premiership.
On your radio, ABC Sport Digital Radio.
And ABC Listen.
Yeah, just the one try in the opening 40 minutes here at Newcastle, Hunter Stadium, where it was Tony Suka. So West Tigers 6 lead Newcastle 0. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Dean Hallertau and Bridget Murphy here as NRL Sunday on ABC Sport continues. Just a reminder, of course, as you may have heard post the news, the T20 Women's World Cup continues on ABC Listen and ABC Sport Digital. Tonight at 7:30, South Africa plays Bangladesh at Lords, followed by Australia-India at Lords. So a big double-header there. The last 2 group games of that Women's T20 World Cup with Australia already through to the semi-finals, looking for our first silverware in 3.5 years. What an awful drought that is for Australian cricket. Around the grounds in the Queensland Cup, second half, South Logan 20 have beaten, they lead North Devils 14, but Billy Walters scored for the Magpies in a good sign for the Broncos, of course. His first came back from an ACL, and they've had an injury crisis themselves in first grade, the Brisbane Broncos. So Billy Walters scoring in the Queensland Cup, which is a great little subplot to that. AFL third quarter, North Melbourne 61 leads Essendon 37, and of course we'll wrap up the entire round 17. We'll look ahead to NRL round 18, which starts on Friday night. Of course, the Origin squads are also announced tonight and tomorrow morning. Tonight for New South Wales, tomorrow morning for Queensland. The irony, as John Gibbs pointed out before, is that I think Queensland know far more about which side they're going to pick than New South Wales, who will have theirs revealed at 7 o'clock tonight, probably in alphabetical order as well. Of course, NRLW, round 1. It all kicks off on Thursday night with the Sharks and the Knights at Shark Park. So we'll have that covered for you as well in the coming days. But there is still 40 minutes left of footy in round 17. Dean Hallertau, and it will be played in, I think, mostly very rainy conditions.
Yeah, which tells us it's going to be a tight game where your points are going to be at a premium. So both teams will want to protect possession. Newcastle Knights did a poor job of that in the first half. I've got no doubt that Justin Holbrook is in the sheds with them at the moment, giving them back the stats that you read out through our break, and just getting them to respect possession, try and get through their sets. They've got enough artillery out wide to try and make some inroads, but it is going to be very difficult if this rain continues to come up with lots of points.
10 errors to 7 in that first half. Cody, thank you for your text. Can Dean give us his opinion on Maverick Geyer, who's off to the Perth Bears?
Yeah, look, he's a handy player. He's a big body. He's very strong, and he's mobile as well. Obviously, he hasn't played a lot of grade at the Tigers, but they got him there for a reason. He's just a good depth player for them, and I think maybe give him more time, he can see more first grade, so maybe he gets an opportunity over in Perth.
It's only his third game this year, Mav Geyer, which makes it his third game for West Tigers overall. Played 14 games at Penrith across a couple of years, and now he's off to the Perth Bears next year. The West Tigers make their way out of the tunnel, as do the Newcastle Knights, with the home stadium pyrotechnics to greet them back on. Only trail 6 points to 0. Justin Beggar says, "Hi guys, when you say stripping for numbers, is that the same as creating overlap?" Dean. Stripping for numbers, creating overlap.
Yeah, that's the same thing. Yeah, like getting unbalanced defensive line.
We're doing all kinds of stuff with game education terminology, and the people often have sort of little things about from 40 years ago, why did this thing change or that thing change, and it's good we can always sort of be there to take everyone's queries. Anyway, footy's back on here. Get to Bridget Murphy on the touchline shortly as the rain continues here in Newey, and the Knights kick off to start this second half. West Tigers lead 6-0, and they will defend this first set of the second half. Getting up to play it now is Gerald Skelton, West Tigers winger. Comes away here through centre field to Tony Suka, who scored that try, as you heard there in the halftime highlights. 25 out centre field. Croyce off here to Fanua Bole. And he's played every game this year. this time on the bench tonight. A late switcheroo there with Bunty Alfoa in the front row. Here is the aforementioned Mav Gaia, and the tall figure of Gaia stands in a three-man tackle. Now he's put down 5 short of halfway. Royceau on this second last play to the run created here on this left edge by Terrell May. Played to Royceau. Last play Tigers. Dewey's kick goes up in the air and the breeze just forces it back. So it's only about 25 out now from the Newcastle's line, and it's still the last as he is taken down out there on that far side, Gerald Skelton. So changeover, Newcastle's ball, 17 out from their own line, 20 in from the eastern side. And we'll see what they do here with their first attacking set of this second half. They trail 6-0. Here's Marju. Of course, Greg Marju and Dominic Young have combined for a total of 29 tries this year so far. I love what I want him to score in this second half. Frizzell, 30 outs in the field. Played to Crossland. Pass off to his right for Sandon Smith, who scored a try and kicked 5 out of 5 last week in the win against St George Illawarra. 35 out. Crossland to his right-hand side here for Jermaine McEwen, and Nakasini and Luai stop him on that left edge West Tigers defence. Crossland comes open side left here now for Newcastle. Smith back on the inside now for Hopwood. On the halfway line he goes. Offloads back here to his hooker in Crossland, and in fact it's Sharp who gets in there in the bright orange boots, and Sharp has the footy and now taken down low by Croyceau up top by Fanua Bolle, and he's 40 out centre field. The pass comes to Dylan Brown. Newcastle will close the set with that kick and launching up there. That's going to be penalty West Tigers. There was a shove as the ball was taken by Starford Toa. Penalty going West's way. 6-0 their lead. 2.5 gone second half. Back to the sideline, Bridget Murphy.
Hello, boys. Yes, it's the rain is intensifying down here. Notes from the sheds. The West Tigers, Benji Marshall, happy with the resilience of his boys. He wants them to build pressure and in particular use their kick chase in these tough conditions. From the Knights, it's all about possession and they want better completion and to execute the game plan. The game plan, what it is, I don't know. But they want it to be executed.
I admire your resilience, Bridge, with this rain still coming down on the umbrella. I can hear it loud and clear. 40 out from that northern line.
You're lucky I love my rugby league.
West Tigers across here. It's not a bad seat in the house here at Under Stadium, is there? Sione Fainu, 30 out, 20 in western side. Set restart, Tigers again. Had more of those in the first half, and now again, repeat ball inside Newcastle's 20-metre line. That's where Guy will play it, 20 outside the field. Croyceau off to Fanua Bolle, and he slips past Crossland, put down by Lucas. Good post-contact run there from Bolle. He'll play it, 7 out, right-hand side of the post. Comes across here to Dewey and Jerome Luai, and now again Buller cuts out the ball wide here for Starford Toa. Got it back on the inside though for Jerome Buller, as Newcastle's offensive numbers came late. Now the pass has just bounced off the chest of Terrell May and back into the park here of the Newcastle Knights and played by Dylan Lucas. So these teams can so quickly turn defence into attack and vice versa. It's 6-0 West Tigers after 4 minutes in this second half.
Yeah, it's picked up where it left off in the first half. A few clumsy errors, or at least one from the Tigers, and there wasn't much doing. They got away from the sideline, and then Terrell May, just with the lack of concentration.
Sandon Smith, catch and release, centre field here to Dylan Brown. That was an untidy pass here. Dom Young chasing it towards the western touchline, and it actually does get there without either he or Starford Toa touching it. So it's West Tigers ball, 20 out from that northern line in driving rain here at Hunter Stadium in Newcastle, and no change to our half-time score. 6-0 the Tigers lead. Roger from Perth says Dylan Brown needs to be stripped of his kicking licence. Pretty hard if you're a 5'8" or a halfback. 15 out centre field, and you're paying an absolute monster for him as well. Fanua Bolle is tackled now, 20 in from the eastern side, 9 away from Newcastle's line. Croyceau, open side left for Adam Dewey. It'll pump in the pass out the back here to Terrell May, and Terrell May inside that Newcastle 10-metre line again. Centre field, 6 metres shy. Croyceau, back to Gaia, almost lost by Dewey as Frizzell comes in hard to make the tackle, and Dewey on his return tonight. The Newcastle Newcastle chant trying to lift the goal line defence here of the home side. Ball comes to Bolle and he's taking Frizzell with him. Metre shy of Newcastle's line. This is play 4 here for West Tigers. And now Croyce out. Darts back, shares it with Luai. The co-captains combined. Inside ball here now for Sione Fainu. And he stands in a 3-man tackle. It'll be last play here for West Tigers. 6-0 their lead. Long pass across from Croyce. And now Dewey to his fullback in Dream Buller. And he loses the ball on last play. Went backwards. He sockers it away here towards Dewey. And Dewey's probing ball goes towards Newcastle's line. Ponga gets there and then surrenders deep in that north-eastern corner of Hunter Stadium. So it remains West Tigers 6, Newcastle 0. And we've played now 6 minutes in this second half. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport.
Yeah, well, they turned a bit of a nothing end of the set into something there when they pinned Kalen Ponga right down near his try line. It's making it really difficult for the Knights to get out of their own end. And this is where you've got to win the games in the wet. It's just to starve a team of field position.
They've already spent 3 tackles this yardage set here, Newcastle Knights. Only 15 out from their own line with Gagai. Played to Crossland. Off here to Cody Hopwood. And he escapes the 20-metre line. It will be penalty Newcastle, who was taken high in there by Matt Geyer. So penalty Newcastle. It'll be the first one they get in this game. Penalty count 2-1 West Tigers. Scoreline 6-0 West Tigers. On the touchline, Bridget Murphy.
Well, we'll have to see how the Newcastle Knights get around this one with a clear opportunity. That was clear as day that was a high tackle. So Cody Hopwood, thankfully, looks okay after receiving that one. But, boys, a update from the team at the Mark Hughes Foundation. At halftime, the fundraising ticker went over $3 million. So incredible stuff.
Awesome. That's fantastic. So $3 million this weekend. We saw the big 3 trekkers as well. A full 85-person contingent this year. The biggest ever big 3 trek from City to Newcastle. Here they go left-hand side. Ponga. And he lost the ball forward in the tackle of Taruva. It's still Newcastle's ball somehow. As it's taken over the eastern touchline. So Taruva kept going and forced that ball over. So it will be turned over again here to West Tigers. I was socket forward there. It came off Bradman Best's shoe. That's why that pass from Ponga wasn't deemed to be forward. 8 minutes gone in this second half so far. West Tigers 6, Newcastle Knights 0. This is Dean Hallertau.
Yeah, well, Greg Marju would like his time back there. He's a big, strong body. He just sort of needs to get the ground as quickly as possible, maintain that good field position, but instead he gets dragged over the touchline. You don't want to be anywhere near it, again, when the conditions are wet.
So here they go. West Tigers up through centre field with Gerald Skelton, 40 out from his own line. They come right-hand side, and Fanua Bolle stands in the Lucas tackle. On halfway, 20 in from the eastern side. Tackle 4 here for West Tigers. Croyce burst from dummy half himself, and now gains about 20 metres here to the opposing 30-metre line. Now it's been lost in the play of the ball. This is not a high-quality game being held out. West still lead 6-0 after 8.5 minutes.
It's a fascination. And
the second half.
It has been very, very sloppy, and it's probably about midway through the first half where it started. And, you know, one of the more senior players on the field there, and Happy Croyce. We've seen a play the ball error from Sunil Taruva in the first half, just trying to get up without controlling the ball and play it quickly. And then Happy Croyce comes up with the same error. So immediately undoes the great field position the Tigers have found themselves in.
So the scrum feed here for Newcastle. 10 in from the eastern side in front of the Andrew John stand. 35 out from their own line. Brown got it right-hand side of the scrum off to Hopwood. And Newcastle will rumble upfield again here early in the set. It's sent wide here to Dylan Lucas. His origin debut in Game 2 for New South Wales. Rested last week. Put on halfway. Crossland off here to Fletcher Sharp in those beautiful bot-orange boots. Makes the break here. Fletcher Sharp sees one ahead of him there. Takes on the fullback. Brought down there by Jereen Buller. 19 away from that southern line, dead centre field. Comes to Brown on play 3 and make it 4 in fact for Newcastle. Now Brown does get to that 10-metre line. Play it for Crossland. Can the home crowd lift them here? Shannon Smith off to Hopwood. A big hit there from Fainu. We'll play it now. Last play, Knights who trail 6-0. Crossland goes short side left. Sharp to Ponga. It's come off the back here, I reckon. It might still be last play. No, 6 more Newcastle. Ponga can't quite get it though. Goes and retrieves it now. as he beats Suka for pace. And now Shannon Smith trots inside that 20-metre line here for the Newcastle Knights with a full set deep inside West Territory. 11 gone second half. Now it's penalty Newcastle as ref Peter Goff blows time off.
He's very lucky. He could have gone for a 10 in the bin for just intentionally...
That's Dewey? Or?
Yeah, for Dewey, for intentionally slowing the play down.
So, Knights here with a full set. Played by Hopwood. 10 out from West Line. Shannon Smith back on the inside for Frizzell. Royce Howard down low and taken up top by Mav Geyer. 6 out in front of the uprights. Sent away here to Brown. Now Ponga and now McEwen. But Luai grabs him desperately around the legs. Play 3, Knights who trail 6-0. Gagai kicks for the corner. What was he doing? That pass went very quick, out touching goal, so it was not a well-judged kick there from the veteran centre. And it remains West Tigers 6, Newcastle 0. 3-minute restart, 7 tackles here for the West Tigers. Touchline we go, Bridget Murphy.
Goodness, Dan Gagai having a shocker at some match points of this match. To become today the most capped centre in the NRL doesn't show it. But that's unfortunate. Unfortunate.
12 minutes go on second half here. So Tigers back on the advance. It's played by Sunia Taruva. And over the 40-metre line they go here. West Tigers. Crossland makes the tackle on Starford Toa. One of their try scores against the Dolphins in that loss last week for the Tigers. Now Seafar lost it in the play. Goodness gracious me. It remains West Tigers 6, Newcastle 0, and there is mercifully 28 minutes left in round 17 in Allentown.
Yeah, well, both teams are really forgetting what weather football is like. I know we've had some good weather of late, but you've got to have control of the ball. Get up with the ball in 2 hands to play it if it is slippery, or you're trying to fuss about to try and get that quick play of the ball. It actually looks like it's stuck to his grippo tape. You can see him signaling there. He's obviously sprayed a fair bit of grippo on his hands, and it's just stuck to the ball as he's tried to play it.
Newcastle scrum, 5 short of half weight, and in from the western side right in front of us. And thankfully, as the rain continues, so at least it's good news for us, because sometimes when the rain comes in from the east, it sort of impedes our view as the rain trickles down the glass of the combox. So it's unfortunate for Bridget, but at least we're sort of nice and safe and dry, and there's no vision problems up here for us with the rain on the glass. Anyway, Lucas, 40 out, 20 in, set restart now for the Newcastle Knights, who still trail by a slightly converted try in the game, 6-0. Back with Jacob Safidi, and he's pressing into a 2-man tackle, 35 out from that southern goal line here, early in this set, post the set restart. Brown back on the inside for McEwen. Great tackle made down there by Mav Geyer down low. And now Crossland, no look pass to his left for Brown. 20 out here, Newcastle, comes to Ponga. Inside back to Dylan Lucas. Huge gap there for the back rower. And Dylan Lucas says, I'll have some of that. And scores behind the posts. At last, Newcastle find some points. 6-4, kick to come Knights after 14 minutes in this second half on ABC Sport. Dean Hallertau.
I spoke a moment ago about wet weather football and some of the things you have to do. Change of angles is a really important one, because the defensive line, if you ask them to shift wide or start moving laterally in defence, and then you turn someone under to stop or pivot and turn and get back to cover that defensive need, is very difficult. And a great hole runner and a great angle runner there in Dylan Lucas cuts back against the grain. The Tigers defence in the middle, they just got nowhere near him. As you said, Spring, a huge gap. He just slices through, and then once he's in the backfield, you can almost guarantee that Lucas is going to cross the line.
Bridget Murphy, it's now 7 tries in 6 games for Dylan Lucas.
And I hope Laurie Daly is watching this game. Of course, there was a lot of criticism on Dylan Lucas in his Origin debut in Game 2. Of course, he was playing still in position, but on the other side, on the right-hand side. He's quite used to being on the left. And when you get him into a position that he's comfortable for and give him an opportunity, he more often than not will come up with the goods, which is exactly what we are seeing here in some of the roughest conditions we've had here in Newcastle this year.
So, Kalen Ponga is lining up his kick from directly in front. We're seeing a few replays of that little run from Dylan Lucas. If there's a suggestion, no, it's all good. It's been cleared by the bunker, so they won't have this try scrubbed, as was the case in the first minute of the game when Dylan Brown scored. This to Jermaine McEwen obstruction, but this to level the scores at 6-all. Kalen Ponga directly in front, left foot goal kicker. Newcastle 6, West Tigers 6 after 15 minutes in this second half. NRL Sunday on ABC Sport, 0467 920 222. If I was a Queensland supporter, I'd love Gagai, but as a Knights supporter, meh. What's the current completion rate, says one texter. Okay, I'll take a request. It is 76% for West Tigers, 60% for Newcastle. It just gets worse. If Newcastle was a horse, you'd scratch it, says Rowdy Candy. Well, that was before they tried to do Lucas. So anyway, it is Newcastle 6, West Tigers 6. As I said, both sides have been guilty of the errors, not just Newcastle. And perhaps the fact that the score's now level is the fitting of that. As Brown feeds the footy off here to Jacob Safidi, who takes the hit up on resumption. 15 out, 20 in from the western side. Off here to the left-hand side. You also don't scratch horses once the race is underway. Something far worse happens usually to horses that don't perform in races later on. Here we go, cross into the left-hand side. Off to Greg Marju, and Marju claimed 30 out, 20 in from the eastern side. On tackle 4 here for the Knights. The inside ball comes to Tyson Frizzell, and Frizzell is in a 3-man tackle now on his own 40-metre line for the Knights. Crossland across here again to Shannon Smith. He directs the pass right to Dylan Brown, and he's stopped on halfway by Gaia and Luai. 20 in from the western side. Last play for the Knights. It's a scoreline of 6 points all against West Tigers, and Shannon Smith's kick to close the set down towards the chest of Jareen Buller, and he returns it over his own 10-metre line here and stopped now 17 out from that southern goal line. Newcastle 6, West Tigers 6 here, NRL Sunday on ABC Sport. As it's played down there by Starford Toa. Dewey at dummy half across to the right-hand side, and Safidi makes the tackle with Lucas on the ball carrier out there in Gerald Skelton. Now it's come back open side left here for West Tigers, and on the 30-metre line it's played, and they come away quickly to Rel May, playing it now 40 out from his own line. Last play for the visitors as it comes to Dewey, and he kicks from behind the 40-metre line here. On the bounce, it's taken by Greg Marju, and Marju runs straight into a wall of West Tigers defenders. Seyfarth and Gaia in there with the fullback Jareen Buller. 30 outs on the field. Newcastle go back on the attack. They know it's our 6 all the scoreline.
Yeah, they're playing with plenty of energy at the moment. Obviously, that tries boosted, and their line speed in defence is enormous. We've just seen a change with Tyson Frizzell coming off the field and Trey Mooney going back on. And Trey Mooney's got some great go forward once he gets going.
Playing Gagai, wrapped up by Seyfarth. Play it here. Tackle 4 here for Newcastle. Ponga back on the inside now for Bradman Best, and Croyce on him like a backpack, brings him down here on the halfway line, 20 in from the eastern side. Shannon Smith, first receiver, off to Brown. Now McEwen. Lula went low on the tackle. McEwen is holding his face for some reason. There was some contact coming in there, maybe from Sione Fainu, and that's why it's now a penalty going Newcastle's way. 6 all the scoreline here. 18 gone, 22 left in this game. Miles in the USA says Bridget sounds like she was trying her hardest not to use the word awful to describe this quality of play. I wouldn't try it too hard, Bridget, because it was awful for the most part this game today.
Yeah,
however, it's 6 points all.
I'm happy to accept that. Awful start to the game, awful conditions, but things on the up maybe for both teams. In the name of rugby league, we want something other than awful.
Score's level at least is something.
Yeah, that's fine.
Penalty count is 3-2 Newcastle's way now. 6 points all, as I mentioned. So they'll tap here with Gagai, 25 out on that western side. As spinning through centre field here, Gaia makes the tackle on Trey Mooney. He's back in the action. Crossland across to Sharp, inside to Safidi. Crawls towards that 10-metre line. Still a few plays left in this set now for the Knights. They've got their ends up here, the home side. Sharp plus 1 tackle. Offloads back into Shannon Smith. Smith 10 metres out. Off to his right for Brown to Gagai. He was caught down there by Starford Toa. Loose ball passed on here by the West Tigers. Over halfway they go. It's with Macassini. They're chasing him. Ponga can't quite does get him. Ponga drags him down with only a few metres to go. Defence scrambles back. So too Western attack. Set restart. Set restart West Tigers. Now it's with Stafford Toa. And he's playing 10 out left-hand side of the post. Does McAteen's run set up a fantastic opportunity here for West Tigers. Latu Fono's out there at dummy half. So he's been used off the bench as well. The last of those bench players used off Benji Marshall's men. 5 out in front of the uprights. Latu Fono gets it back here, and now the fullback, Jereen Buller, putting through a big gap, and it closed quickly there with Dylan Lucas. Only a few metres out from Newcastle's line. Gaia, catch and now run, takes on Crossland, and stopped there by Crossland and Mooney. 8 out left-hand side of the uprights. Latu Fono off here again to the fullback in Buller. Dewey to Taruva, who fell over on that slippery surface, and Bredman Best stopped him. 10 out, 10 in, eastern side. Across here to Adam Dewey. Off to Terrell May. Straightening run toward the post. Offloads back into Latu Fono. Now Luai goes to the left-hand side. Off to Makasini. Makasini steamrolls Gagai in that northwestern corner. And he stopped, though, 4 shy of Newcastle's line. Last play West. Scoreline 6 points all. Luai's kick. Little deft left foot boot across the goal mouth. Comes down to Seafarth. And now Seafarth back to Terrell May to Dewey. Catch bobble. Taruva got it there on the bounce towards that man in Skelton. Pass comes back on the inside. Was it knocked down by Newcastle? No, held by Newcastle. So it's going to be Newcastle back on the attack with Talon Ponga. The Tigers just couldn't finish it off in Hallertau, although Newcastle can't keep a clean bill of health here either. So it's another loose footy pounced on by the Newcastle Knights. Now Marzu has it. It's already played 3 in this yardage set after thwarting that attempt from West Tigers.
There was a huge defensive set from the Newcastle Knights, and it was a great chase back from Kalen Ponga to bail his team out, where Makasini looked like he was for all money going to run away to score. So great onset on their own goal line set defence.
Knights 6, Tigers 6. You're with Brett Sprigg alongside Dean Hallertau and Bridget Murphy here at Newcastle's Hunter Stadium, where the rain, I think, is still quite heavy. 30 out centre field, played by Mooney. It's last play Knights, deep in their own territory. Brown's kick does go down toward a wing there for Stafford Toa. And Stafford Toa brings it back here into Gagai. And also out there is McEwen, and will play it 30 out, 20 in from the western side. 18 and a half left in the game. 6 points all after earlier. Canberra 24 beats St George Illawarra 16 at Canberra Stadium. 7 metre short of halfway here for the West Tigers. Bunty Afoa's back in the action. Breaks through the Crossland tackle, and some enforcement comes there with Jermaine McEwen. Latu Fono, a flat ball there to find Seafarth, and Seafarth now gains 10. He 35 out. Last play for West Tigers. Comes across here for Dewey. He lines up a kick here to go high and long down towards the corner for Marzu. Marzu plants the feet, 6 out from his own line, and now gets over the 10 metre line, where they'll start their next set here, the Newcastle Knights. It's the Knights 6, Tigers 6, 17:50 left here. Touchline Bridget Murphy.
The Newcastle Knights preparing to make some more changes. Matt Croker's got the card in his hand, so he will be coming back onto the field. So we'll just as we speak, has just run out onto the field. So a bit of reinforcements in the forward pack.
Crossland across here to Jermaine McEwen, who sister Eva, not playing for the Knights this year. She's off at the Bulldogs. NRLW, which starts next week, of course. Open side left with Croker, who, as Bridge says, is back in the action. Here's his first carry on resumption, and he stopped 7 short of the halfway. Crossland on the last play here for the Knights to Dylan Brown. Wobbles a kick off his right boot down over the head of Jereen Buller. That will force the West Tigers back here. But Buller can always recover those metres as quick as he gives them up. But he's met by Gagai, a little high though. And that was a bit clumsy there from Gagai, and then later Dylan Lucas, who came in 20 out from West Tigers line. Penalty going their way.
Yeah, well, that's a penalty you want to give away, particularly when the good kick or the good bounce off that kick turned the Tigers around. Gagai did a good job to get down there and shut Jereen Buller down on that kick return. So the Tigers will get a piggyback out of their own end. They haven't looked to our right too much this second half, because it's been mostly played through the middle third of the field or up to the Newcastle Knights own goal line.
So they find touch on the western side here, the West Tigers. Penalty count now 3 all, scoreline 6 all in this game, with 16 and a half minutes left here at Hunter Stadium in Newcastle. Nicky Peter-Goff just calls them back. An extra nickety. 5 inside Newcastle territory. West Tigers here on the attack inside Newcastle's 40-metre line. It's played by Sione Fainu. Across here now for Seifert. Charging through the middle of the park here for West Tigers with 30 metres to go on this journey upfield. Dewey back on the inside here now for Tony Suka. Their only try scorer so far. There's a bit slow getting up here, Tony Suka. Will play it 20 out, 20 in, eastern side. Tackle 4 here for West Tigers. Now Bunty out forward, charging into Croker and Crossland and Co. And now he's 13 away from that Newcastle line, all end of Hunter Stadium. Comes to Luai, first receiver. Inside ball here now for Sione Fainu, the 50-gamer. It'll be last play West Tigers. 5 out left-hand side of the post. Fainu, that's Latu Fainu, across to Terrell May. Pass is slipped behind a couple of his teammates there for Taruva. The winger puts in the kick. Braden Best fields it there for the Newcastle Knights. And they're back on the attack, 10 out from their own line. 6 all the score line with 15 minutes left in the game in Allentown.
Yeah, well, again on last play, not really asking the opposition to make many decisions. The West Tigers, they run it to a dead end, and Sonic Taruva just puts it on the toe because there's not much else he can do. It's well covered in the end by the Newcastle Knights, which has been probably a real strength of theirs this evening, is just their defensive scramble.
And here goes Sharp from dummy half. That was a sharp run. Over halfway goes, and in comes Seifert to stop him. 40 out from West Tigers line. Dummy half, Ponner across to Brown. The right he goes now for Jermaine McEwen. He slips over here as Luai gets him. That service is causing a few dramas underfoot for both teams. Gagai back to Brown. Newcastle end the set here. High kick will land 10 out from West Tigers line, and it's in the capable hands of Doreen Buller. Round the grounds, Queensland Cup full-time. South Logan 20, North Devils 14. Willie Walters scored a try on his return from an ACL. AFL fourth quarter, North Melbourne 73 leads Essendon 46. First quarter, Fremantle 27 leads Gold Coast 2. So 20 out from West Tigers line. It's tackle 4 here and a 6-all score line at Hunter Stadium in Newcastle. 30 out, 20 in. Played there by the winger Taruva. Dummy half Latu Fainu. It's come here to Terrell May, and now it's been lost. So there's those errors just rearing Redley head again for West Tigers. 6-all score line. Touchline we go. Bridget Murphy. Hang on, wait. Sorry, Bridge. Challenge.
On-field decisions and knock-on from the Tigers. Tigers are challenging for high contact on the tackle before the knock-on.
Okay. So it was the play before. This will change the trajectory of the set of the game at 6 points all.
Take himself in, he makes high contact on the ball carrier.
Okay.
That is the original offence. The challenge by the West Tigers is successful.
Three successful challenges for West Tigers in this game so far. Shot 6 points all, 13:40 to go.
Yeah, good challenge there by the Tigers, and again, it's a piggyback penalty as they call it, coming out of your own end under pressure from the defence. They get a chance to kick the ball at the touchline and then get themselves into some good attacking ball again. But it's got to be that change of angle, not worrying about trying to pass to get wide. It's too easy to defend that. They need to play some change of angles.
Penalty count, Tigers 4, Knights 3, as you were, Bridget Murphy.
We just heard from ground staff here, 22,968 people here at Hunter Stadium. How many of them remain because of the rain at the moment? We don't know. But that's around about capacity at the moment with the closures in the Andrew John stand.
13 minutes left here in Newcastle. It's come to Terrell May. West Tigers here, 25 out from Newcastle's line. Offload back to Croissau. This is still only play 2 with Dewey, and he steps toward that far side of the ground. Fletcher Sharp grabs him. 20 out. 17 in from the eastern touchline here in front of the aforementioned Andrew John stand. As it's come across here, left-hand side, Luai. Inside back to Sione Fainu. And a good post-contact carry here. He's 11 out, left-hand side of the post. Play 4 here coming up for West Tigers. Terrell May to Luai. Flat ball, Seifert. Offload to Buller, to Dewey. He dummies the pass to the wing, and Dewey might get there himself. No. They pile him in on that northeastern corner of the ground. He'll play it a metre out from Newcastle's line. Desperate stuff here for the Knights on this second last play, West Tigers. Across to Latu Whanu centre field. Directs it left now for Jerome Luai, and he's taken by Jermaine McEwen. It will be last play West. 15 out, 20 in Western side. Open side right now. The kick comes from Croysau after he dummied the pass, and now it's fielded down there by the Newcastle Knights. First hands to it underneath all of that was Dylan Lucas, and he'll play it 5 out from his own line with 12 minutes left. It's still Newcastle 6, West Tigers 6.
Yeah, in spite of the poor finish again from the Tigers, it's great scramble continuing for the Newcastle Knights. They're their jobs. Those 1%ers are turning up for your teammate. They keep plugging the holes. They keep turning up when those dirty balls are on the ground from the kicks.
Yardage set Newcastle only on play 4 though, and they're 25 out. Make it 30 on this next carry from Dane Gagai. Play it to Crossland. Low ball there for Croker. Seafarth gets him, and that's 40 out, 20 in from the western side. It's last play for the Newcastle Knights. As Crossland goes short side right, and the kick from Brown. Long kick down through centre field. Jareen Buller takes the catch. 8 metres out from his own line, and now Prancer's back across Thomas Cant, who's out there. So Newcastle finish up 1-17 with Sandon Smith, Tyson Frizzell, Freddie Hopwood and Thomas Cant off the bench, and he's out there on the defensive line as the West Tigers go back on the attack. 11 minutes left in the game, still a 6-all scoreline. Tries to Tony Suka and Dylan Lucas, both back rowers, both number 11s in the game so far, as they're still inside their own half here, West on play 4. Across to the right-hand side is where Taruva is put down by Dylan Lucas. Now he's slow getting up. The 3G, Sunil Taruva. He gets up, plays it now. Terrell May, Luai. Across here they go again. And Starford Toa is slowed down. Devoid of options on the outer, on that wing, and then Gagai stops him anyway. Played to Macassini. Dewey runs by, receives it. Running kick. He's chasing his own kick here, Dewey, but kind of slides out beyond the 20-metre line, gets there first for Newcastle. Remains Knights 6, Tigers 6. Half an hour gone, 10 to go in their second half at Hunter Stadium as Marju wastes no time on the outer side for the Newcastle Knights.
Tackle 2.
But Sia Taruva
Stays down. I think it's time there for a test.
This is HIA, isn't it?
Yeah, he's been asked to leave by the referee.
From that. Jerome Luai's having a chat with him now, but yeah, he's going to be assessed here, Sia Taruva. The way he was protesting, I thought it was the penalty coming, but no, he was saying very off the field to be assessed here, Bridget Murphy. So Taruva's coming, well, not towards you, but towards the West Tigers bench now.
Yeah, so he's exiting the field. Looked a bit cranky with that decision. Doesn't look like he really feels like he needs to go, but
They never do.
They never do, but the rules are the rules, so he will be going off for an assessment. We'll get the latest on that. But Shop mentioned in the first half that Matt Croker, the Newcastle Knights lock forward, looked to be in a bit of pain. He played out, and he's back out there at the moment, but he has been grabbing at his right arm and trying to avoid parts of the ruck. So we'll keep an eye on Matt Croker as well.
Field goal time, surely, says Cody. Yeah, well, you think that's not far away. Here's Ponga, off to Gagai. Big hit from Starford Toa. Gagai holds the foot. He plays it now for Brown. 5 short of the halfway here. 9:40 left as Dom Young, either short of halfway, will play it here. On the last for Newcastle. Crossland comes back short side right. The kick from Brown up in the air. And Jareen Buller takes the catch, steps from his own 10-metre line here and gains 10 more. Where they'll start this next set about 18 away from that southern goal line here. Tigers running right to left. Macassini now spins infield in the tackle of Thomas Cant. Dummy half Croysau. Can they get something going here, West Tigers? Crossland makes the tackle, and so too Lucas. In fact, it was Croker in there on that run from Gerald Skelton. 40 out here, played by Bunty Afoa. Dummy half Croysau. As this kick comes early from Dewey. He was ahead of the 40, I thought. In front of the 40 as Ponga fields it anyway. 10 out from his own line. And the Newcastle fullback and captain shares a pass by DeMarzi here. Left-hand side they go. He rumbles his way past Seafarth. Takes on Terrell May. Still going Marju like a wrecking ball. And he's 5 shy of the halfway. Good game that time with a winger. 20 in from the east eastern side. 8:20 left, a set restart to boot here for the Knights. So a full set now inside West Tigers territory. Thomas Can piled in there by Jerome Luai and he'll play it across land. 6 tackles inside West Tigers' own area. Tip wide by Ponga to Best and now Marzu again as he steps in field now taken by Latu Fainu. 35 out from that southern goal line. 8 minutes left here. Scoreline still 6 points all. Knights and Tigers on ABC Sport. Crossland back on the inside now for Croker. And Croker met there by Terrell May and will play it 32 out. 20 in from the eastern side. Ponga. Now it's been lost by Lucas. The pass came hot and no issues about that. It just came cold off Dylan Lucas and it will be a West Tigers ball 20 out from their own line. Southern end, Dean Hallett's house. 7.5 to go. And it remains Newcastle 6, West Tigers 6.
Yeah, that's not often something that goes wrong, the combination between Kalen Ponga and Dylan Lucas. We've just seen a replay of a hit on Ponga back upfield when he got that line break assist away to Greg Marju off the kick return, but nothing doing there from the referees and he resumes his place.
So 7 minutes left in the game. West Tigers scrum field, centre field scrum 20 out from their own line. Who can hold their nerve here in wet conditions? Rain still falling here at Hunter Stadium. And there is Sione Fainu in his 50th game. Scored a couple of tries against the Dolphins last week, the back rower. His first 2 tries of the year. As they step towards that 40-metre line now. And Tuckland playing it as Bunty Afoa. Croysau, no look pass to his left here. Over the halfway they go here, West Tigers. The services of Fanua Bole. Back to Croysau, 5 inside Newcastle territory. And now Terrell May stands in the tackle of Dylan Lucas. Comes across to the right-hand side. Dewey's kick goes up in the air. It'll land 10 metres out here. Ponga calls for it. Oncoming traffic there with Buller. And the ball bobbles into the Newcastle in-goal area. Picked up by Bradman Best. Off to Dom Young. He gets around Nakas and he's still going young. Escapes the 10. Got away from Luai. Still going young. Over the 40. Towards halfway. They're chasing him. He goes on the inside there of Terrell May. Heads the pass off to Bradman Best. Good luck with this. 30, 20, 10. Bradman scores under the posts. Newcastle's in and they lead the game 10-6 with a kick to come. 5:50 left.
Yeah, well, the Newcastle Knights, they could have shut up shop and just taken the knock on and gone back for a play the ball on the 10-metre line. Instead, they choose to have the free play or the free shot of it. They get the passes going in the in goal. It goes to Dominic Young and he does a great job firstly to get out, but just to get through some tired defenders. He gets the big fend out on Jerome Luai coming across in cover. Once he's in the backfield, he's got Terrell May coming across. He steps inside him and then just finds his speed back on the inside. Fresh looking Bradman Best. As soon as he gets into the backfield, you called it, Spriggy. There was no chance that anyone was going to get him. He gets under the post and extends the lead for them.
So Newcastle's in front 10-6. I mentioned he returned last week from that calf injury in Bridge. There was a nice little baby celebration there for Bradman Best as well.
Yes, absolutely. He's got the little one who has probably some of the best genetics in terms of sport ever. His partner's father is none other than boxer Jeff Fennick. So that baby has
fast feet, fast hands.
Yeah, all of it.
4:50 left here, so Ponga directly in front, and that was the other ideal thing as far as where that try was scored from Bradman Best to break the deadlock here at Hunter Stadium. Rain continues to tumble. 4 minutes 30 left now on the clock. Ponga's 1 from 1 so far tonight. And here he is. Total of 12 metres out here, Kalen Ponga, directly in front of the uprights to make it 12-6 Newcastle. Off the back of the Bradman Best try, and he does just that, does Kalen Ponga, who is bound for Maroons camp. You would think tomorrow. 2 out of 2 tonight for Kalen Ponga, and of course Bradman Best scoring his 3rd try of the year. Around the grounds in the AFL, North Melbourne 79 leads Essendon 65, and the second quarter, that's the last quarter there, in fact, might have just gone full time in the North Melbourne Essendon game. Second quarter, Fremantle 28 leads the Gold Coast Suns 2. What a try there from Newcastle. So, Bradman Best. played Origin a few years ago down New Bridge.
Just heard from the West Tigers and HIA official Sunia Taruva, a Category 2 head knock that he was taken off for an assessment there.
Okay, but we won't see him return anyway based on... there's 4 minutes left, so yeah. Dewey kicks off here. It goes about 20 metres. Fletcher Sharp is there first. Newcastle here, they've won 5 out of their past 6. Looking to keep most of this form line going here and shoot back up into what I think will be 5th on the table. I'll check that in a second as well. 30 out from this northern goal line. Marju makes the carry, gains about 7 metres. 20 in from the eastern side. Crossland across to Croker. And Croker collected by Sione Fainu. Time running out here for West Tigers. 3:50 left in the game. They're defending this set here from Newcastle. Thomas Cant slips away there from Sione Fainu. He'll play it metre shot of halfway. Off here to Dylan Brown. And he kicks from the halfway line down towards the wing of Starford Toa. Who was actually sin bin the last time these sides met here, which was round 6 of last year, for what it's worth. 3:25 left in the game. Knights 12 lead the Tigers 6. As I say, it's desperate stuff here for Benji's men. On the approach, 25 out from their own line. And it is with Gerald Skelton. Brought down 35 out, 20 in from that far side. Dewey comes through hands to Jerome Luai on his centre field run, eventually collected by Dylan Brown. Leader shot of halfway here for West Tigers. That pass looked forward for all money, going from close out of the left-hand side, and the crowd certainly agrees with me there. Played by Jareen Buller. On this last play, West Tigers, it's a high spiralling ball from Adam Dewey. Ponga does take the catch and diffuses that bomb 10 out from that northern line. And a long penalty here as well, as Croyes came in pretty hard on the Newcastle captain, but nothing doing here, and the Knights go on the attack 10 out from their own line.
Yeah, beautiful take by Caitlin Ponga under all sorts of pressure coming through, and a floating ball, difficult conditions, but again, it's been a theme, I think, for the Newcastle Knights, just their ability to stick in for each other, that scramble defence, as I mentioned before, and just remaining composed.
Marzu gets up to play it now, 25 out from his own line, as here goes Dylan Lucas on a good post-contact run up through centre field, 37 out from his own line. Played here to Fletcher Sharp, and again he explodes away, as Fletcher Sharp is often want to do. 5 short of halfway. Crossland across to Dylan Brown, and Brown's kick again down towards the wing of Starford Toa. It's all been quite sort of methodical and rhythmic these last few sets. Minute 45, is that the right word? Left in the game, where it's Newcastle 12, West Tigers 6. Play 2 here for West Tigers, and caught 30 out from his own line. And playing it down there is Bolle. It comes across here now with Jareen Buller. And the fullback collected 40 metres out from that southern goal line, which West Tigers are running away from. Minute 20 left here. Desperate stuff. Last-ditch effort here for Benji's men. Caroisau goes low in the Frizzell oncoming traffic. Play it 8 short of halfway. Spun across to Luai. On their second last effort now for West Tigers. Pass comes cut out wide here towards Starford Toa. He steps infield, taken down there by Young and also Gagai. Last play, Tigers 30 out from Newcastle's line. Nakasini off to Dewey. Puts up the high kick. Shot up in the air. Gains no real metres other than vertical ones. Let bounce by Nakasini. Had it back by Fainu. It goes straight here to the Newcastle Knights, and now Luai puts the tackle there on the man very slow getting up. It's Trey Mooney. So he'll play it 40 out from his own line. What that does is give possession to the Newcastle Knights with 37 seconds left. Now, Bunty Alfoa made contact there as Dominic Young was slipping on that greasy surface. And the home fans think this should be a penalty going the Knights' way. They lead 12-6, 25 seconds left. Touchline, Bridget Murphy.
Yeah, just looking at Dom Young, he's still got his hands on the ball, laying on the ground. Can't really see what he's clutching at. He's getting to his feet and is going to play the ball, but looks like he's got maybe a slight limp.
Yeah. those guys always look at he's limping. He's got very long legs and he's kind of has the appropriate sort of gait. Is that the right way to describe it? 8 short of the halfway. It's been the word of the day so far. 20 in from the western side. He's limping a little bit though, the Englishman. As the seconds tick down here. 15 of them left in this game to close round 17 here at Hunter Stadium. And the Newcastle Knights, in these dying seconds, will reaffirm their position in the NRL's top 8. They were 8th, having slipped from 5th because of other teams winning other results. And the Newcastle Knights with this win, gritty in the wet, by no means perfect for either side, but they win 12-6 against West Tigers, condemning West now to 6 losses in 8 games and 7 in their past 10. But the Newcastle Knights are right where they want to be in Justin Holbrook's first year in charge. 10 wins now on the year. Full-time score here, Newcastle 12, West Tigers 6.
Yeah, I think gritty's the right way to describe it, Spriggy. It was a slow start from the Newcastle Knights, and obviously the low-scoring game. The conditions weren't conducive to scoring lots of points, but they hung in there. And I mentioned a number of times about their goal line defence or their scramble defence. Maybe a bit of a combination of the Tigers' attack not really flowing, but you still got to turn up when balls are on the ground, when there's kicks in behind the line to support your back three. And I thought they did a really good job of that throughout the night. The Newcastle Knights, obviously, they were well aided by players coming back. Dylan Lucas had a strong game on that left edge. Bradman Best was good as well, scoring that try to put them in front and to ultimately seal the victory. And I thought Calvin Ponga had a solid game at the back, but the Tigers have got a bit of work to do just around their structures. I know Adam Dewey came back tonight, but they looked a little bit clunky and out of rhythm at times.
Bridget Murphy, we can get down to you.
Yes, boys, I'm here with Dylan Lucas from the Newcastle Knights. Get under that umbrella. Big game, tough game in that second half. How do you wrap that one up?
Yeah, that's another scrappy win from us, but when you get the 2 points and you're not playing well, that's a positive to take out of it, but we got some work to do. We're far from our best, and we've got to be a lot better than that.
To get over for a try, though, in these conditions, I mean, I'm feeling it for the first time. This ground feels like spongy. How was that? And just to get that relief of being able to get back in the game?
These conditions make it hard when it's wet and it's slippery, but and it doesn't help when we couldn't hold on to the footy and we made it hard on ourselves. But to the boys' credit, we stuck in there and we found a way to win, and that's a real positive at the moment. We're finding ways to win and we can hang on to that, but like I said earlier, we've got to be a lot better.
And hey, a big evening tonight, of course. Origin selections coming out. You had any exciting phone calls yet before the game?
Nah, I haven't heard anything yet. I'll just wait and see what happens. Hopefully get a call, and but it is what it is now, and if I get a call, I'll be more than ready to go.
Well, fingers and toes crossed. Thanks for having a talk, Busy Sport.
Thank you.
Dylan Lucas there with Bridget Murphy. Of course, he was in the New South Wales squad in game 1, and then of course made his debut in game 2. We'll get some reaction from West Tigers if we can. The man who turned tonight, so Bridge, just watching you, got crushed by him, Dewey. Anyway, we'll see how we can go. Down to you, Bridge.
I'm here with Jerome Maluai. Jerome, just hang on one sec. Jerome, tough loss there. Plenty of grit though, especially considering in the second half some of these conditions.
Yeah, I'm proud of the boys, proud of the effort. Come up against a very strong night side, good form, a lot of Origin players, so they're playing with a lot of confidence. We thought we dragged them in the dogfight. We had an opportunity at the back end of the game to win it, and we came up short, but can't fault the boys' effort.
That opening minute of the game where it looked like the Knights had scored, of course, that was overturned. How proud of you or your boys that they didn't let that get to them, that opening exchange? It would have rattled a lot of sides.
Yeah, I think Seyfarth, a really good player. He made a good read there in 3-man. He's going up against Ponga out there on the edges, so he's really diligent at training, and that sort of paid off in the moment. But we've done a lot of practice, mindfulness. When something doesn't go quite right, how are we as a team? So I thought we bounced back really well. Got in front there at one stage, but couldn't hold the boys off.
And to have Adam Dewey back in this side, what difference has that made?
Yeah, he's probably the reason why we're in that game for such a long period of time. So it's great to have him back. Start forming that combination once again, and hopefully we can get our footy on.
Well, onward and upward. Thanks for talking to ABC Sport.
Take care. Appreciate it.
Tigers co-captain and 5'8" Jerome Luai there with our own Bridget Murphy. We might get one more from the Knights if we can, Bridge. And that, in fact, they scored combination points. It was 6-0 Tigers at half-time and then 12-6 Newcastle. So they did shut the Tigers out, at least in that second 40, which was error-riddled second half for both sides. Really, Bradman Best tried the difference in the end. That now brings the Knights up onto 24 points, so equal with the Warriors, Dolphins, Roosters, sitting just out of that top four. And we can go back down to you, Bridge.
I'm here with Tyson Frizzell. Tyson, some of the worst conditions we've had here all year.
Yeah, wasn't ideal. In saying that, we've been blessed with some good weather, but yeah, tough conditions. Bit of a scrubby game that comes along with it, and another gritty win.
Yeah, the fight back, of course. You know, it was on and then off and then on and then off, and then your team found a way. How proud are you of your boys?
Yeah, very proud. Like I said, we haven't been winning pretty, but we've been winning those close games that we probably haven't been able to do in the past. So, like I always say, there's a lot of improvement, but we're getting the results, but we still need to be getting.
And hey, it's been a weird week with, of course, Dane Gagai's news that he's going to be moving, and you played a heck of a lot of footy with him. Tell me about his impact here at the Knights, and I guess in what ways he's going to be missed for this squad.
Yeah, he knows how I feel about him, and we all, we would love for him to stay, and things don't always go that way, but we just say we're very blessed to play alongside a guy like him. He'll go down as one of the greats, and we know how much it means to us on and off the field, and I wish nothing more, but hopefully the only way we can repay him is by getting as close as we can to the end, and who knows what will happen. I'd love nothing more than to send him out on the high.
Well, thanks for talking to ABC Sport.
Thank you.
Tyson Frizzell down there with Bridget Murphy, and Bridge can get out of the rain and join us up here in the commentary box for our little Sunday wrap-up here to close round 17. We'll recap the entire round. We'll get a full summary from Maury, Louis and Gibbsy from that Canberra St George Illawarra game earlier, in which the Raiders won 24-16 at Canberra Stadium, and indeed look ahead to NRLW round 1, which starts on Thursday night, and NRL round 18, which starts on Friday night. Here today in Newcastle, the first try was scored by Tony Suka for West Tigers in the 10th minute. Adam Dewey with the successful conversion. It was 6-0, the visitors at the halftime break, and then it was those 2 second-half tries to Dylan Lucas, who we heard from there in the 53rd minute, and Bradman Best in the 74th minute as well. Fantastic team try there from the Newcastle Knights, and Cullen Plonga slotted both conversions as well for that 12-6 full-time scoreline here. They've now won 8 of their past 10 against West Tigers. In fact, Tigers had won the previous 2, so they've won a few in a row, 7 in a row, and then they lost the previous 2. They've now won 5 out of 6 at Hunter Stadium as well. And overall, 6 wins in their past 7 starts for the Newcastle Knights, who are effectively equal second, Dean Hallertau. So the for and against splits the Warriors, Dolphins, Roosters and Knights, all sitting 2 games behind the Penrith Panthers. And that, of course, is also to be factored in that the Panthers have they got South next week to start round 18, then the bye. That's their last bye. So as far as the points they have coming, and also to go through all this, because there's a few teams, it's all a bit sort of lopsided as far as who's, and the Warriors have the bye this week as well, so that's also significant as far as the makeup of that top 4. But the Knights go back into 5th spot with this impressive win in tricky circumstances here. Who are your 3 best players?
Best player. So I'm going to go for 1 point, Bradman Best. I thought he was dynamic on that edge, as he always is. 168 running metres. Obviously the try that sealed the deal for them, but also defensively he's so hard to get around, and there really wasn't any options around him from the Tigers. For 2 points, I'm going to go Phoenix Crossland. Not a lot of attacking play, but he came up with 63 tackles. He was out there for 80 minutes, and he's an ultimate workhorse. And I mentioned the scramble and the 1%ers that the Newcastle Knights did really well this afternoon, and he was probably key to that, leading them through the middle. 3 points, I'm going to go Dylan Lucas. I thought he was a handful on that edge for 100 metres. Scored scored the try, obviously. He was damaging on the edge, a couple of tackle breaks, line breaks, and he came up with 50 tackles of his own. So that's a pretty big performance from the back rower to square off against other back rowers vying for positions in the blue side.
3 for Dylan Lucas, 2 for Vince Crossland, and 1 to Bradman Best in the ABC Player of the Year as awarded by Dean Hallertau. Next week, the Knights are at home again against the Dolphins. That's Sunday, same time slot, the 4:05 game. And the Tigers are away against the Dragons at Cogra, Saturday, 5:30. So as I said, they've now lost 6 of their past 8 after having had that little win there of that run there of 3 straight wins and 4 in their 5 at one stage there. West Tigers, but now they'll be sitting back in 11th. That's where they'll stay to conclude round 17. Round the grounds quickly, just to recap what's happening elsewhere in the AFL. Fremantle in the second quarter leads Gold Coast 29-10. Don't forget the Women's T20 World Cup, the cricket on ABC Listen and ABC Sport Digital. I mentioned tonight's game, 7:30. South Africa up against Bangladesh at Lords, followed by Australia, India at Lords, the last 2 group games of that Women's T20 World Cup. And then, of course, the semi-finals and final for Sophie Molyneux's Australians there in that World Cup. There was a Jersey Flegg curtain raiser here in Newcastle today, 28-14. The Knights beat Kabiti Silk Tails. And just on other things that have happened, I don't want to go too deep down the rabbit hole here with the around the grounds, but I'll do the lower grades later on if I get time. And Bridget mentioned, by the way, Bridge, welcome back, $3 million across the weekend.
Well, across the round and all of the beanie sales, donations, all of it all coming together is around $3 million. That was at halftime. Obviously, the tally is still going.
Okay.
So we'll see how it develops.
We'll also have inside this next hour the New South Wales squad announced, which will keep our eyes peeled for the usual leaks, which are never usually correct, but that is to be announced 7 p.m. We'll be off air at 6:30, so in the next half an hour. 3.8 million, by the way, is the final tally. Thank you, Zano, in the studio.
Isn't the first source of our leaks usually Michael Cariatis, and you're saying they're wrong?
Yeah. Well, look,
is that it?
I'll keep an eye on MC's texts. I'll